They have the characteristic of being indestructible since birth. Indestructible? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Indestructible is just a concept. In fact, they can still be destroyed as long as the power is strong enough. Immortal Cat said. But after being destroyed, after hundreds of millions of years, they will be reborn in another place in the universe, repeating the cycle as if they are an immortal existence. What a treasure! Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He finally understood why this was the final secret treasure of the Stars sect. With this Khanate artifact, wouldn't it be easy to find other treasures? A few days later, Xiaoping came out of seclusion. He had obtained a large number of elixirs from the disciples of Xiantian sect, Mingyue Pavilion, and Great Sky sect, and then he swallowed them all and transformed them into spiritual power. Therefore, in the past few days, he had been constantly improving his cultivation, and his spiritual power was also a lot stronger, almost reaching the peak of the middle stage of True Fire Realm, vaguely touching the bottleneck. If these elixirs were obtained by other cultivators, they would have been promoted to the peak of the late stage of True Fire Realm. But for Xiaoping, it was just a drop in the bucket, because his savings were too deep, and these elixirs were nothing at all. But this time he got 20 golden elixirs. And now the Green Bull was refining these golden elixirs into elixirs. Once successful, he could quickly promote to the late stage of True Fire Realm, or even the peak of True Fire Realm. In this way, he was not far from the Golden Core Realm. Didi. At this moment the system's voice was heard. Congratulations to the host for angering a large number of elders of Xiantian sect, Great Sky sect, and Mingyue Pavilion, gaining 1.5 billion hatred points. Now the host has a total of 2 billion hatred points. I hope the host will continue to work hard. Xiaoping was overjoyed. With 2 billion hatred points, he could buy a lot of good things, but he still needed to think carefully about what to buy. Master. At this moment, the Green Bull's voice was heard. There's a problem with refining the golden elixirs. What problem? Xiaoping asked. He now needed the golden elixirs to improve his cultivation, and he was very concerned about this. If you want to refine the golden elixirs, you must clear the spiritual will inside the golden elixirs. Only after clearing it, the golden elixirs will become pure energy, and this requires a kind of elixir, soul cleansing grass. The Green Bull said, soul cleansing grass is a spiritual medicine of heaven and earth, extremely precious. Once taken, it has the effect of washing away the impurities of the soul. If taken too much, even the memory of the soul will be washed away. So if you can get the soul cleansing grass, you can clear the spiritual will inside the golden elixirs. The problem is that this kind of elixir is very precious, and I don't have it with me for the time being. Then do you know where to find the soul cleansing grass? Xiaoping asked. The Green Bull said, Master, the place where the soul cleansing grass grows is very unique, and it's very difficult to find it. I don't know where exactly, but I know that there might be a planet where the soul cleansing grass grows in the southern universe. The southern universe? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. After being in the universe for a long time, he knew that although the universe was endless and vast, it was divided into 5 major regions. The first was the place where the Heaven and Earth sect, the Lingyun sect, and the 5 Elements sect were located. This place was called the Eastern Universe. This region was the most peaceful place in the universe, but there were relatively few opportunities. The Great Sky sect, the Xiantian sect, and the Mingyue Pavilion were located in the Northern Universe. It was said that there were fewer planets with life in this universe, and many of them had very harsh environments. However, there were many secret realms in the universe, which also made the creatures in the Northern Universe very fierce. In addition, there was also the Southern Universe. There were many barbarians and beasts living in this universe. There were a large number of wild planets, which could be called a paradise for monsters. Therefore, some people called this place the Southern Barbarians. On the other hand, the Western Universe was a world of religion. It was said that there was Buddhism in that universe, and there were races like the Luohan, the Vajra, and other races living there. There were also the Angel Clan, the Demon Clan, and other tyrannical races. Everyone in that place had their own beliefs. Therefore, the Western universe was extremely xenophobic and mysterious. Moreover, there were endless conflicts between them, and wars often broke out. Of course, these four major regions were nothing. The strongest was the central universe. This was the center of the universe, and it had the most opportunities. It was the place where the saints lived, and it was the holy land of all races. It was as if a clear road sign had appeared in his soul, guiding him forward. How mysterious! Xiaoping was amazed. He had a strong premonition that as long as he followed this direction, he would definitely find the soul-cleansing grass. However, he also knew that activating the wish compass wasn't without a price. It needed to be charged, allowing the wish compass to devour the mysterious energy in the depths of the void. Only then could the wish compass unleash its power. Therefore, in order to activate the wish compass, it had to be charged at all times. However, some wishes were too small and only needed to be charged for a few hours. Some wishes were too big and needed decades or even hundreds of years, or even tens of thousands of years to charge. However, this wish compass hadn't been used for a very long time, so the energy accumulated in its depths was rather astonishing. There was no need to worry that the wish compass wouldn't be able to be used for the time being. Swoosh! After a few more days, the myriad star sailed all the way and finally arrived at the location indicated by the wish compass. It was a desolate planet that seemed no different from an ordinary planet. Xiaoping looked over and discovered that this planet was densely covered in green plants and dense forests. It was like the ancient era of Earth. The oxygen content was extremely high, and there were powerful beasts growing everywhere. It was just like the desolate era. Let's go in. With a single thought, he immediately made the myriad star land on this planet. It broke through the atmosphere and arrived at a vast grassland. There were weeds that were half a person's height growing everywhere. What a powerful gravity! Xiaoping immediately sensed that this planet's gravity was extraordinary. It was more than 10 times that of an ordinary planet. One could imagine how powerful the creatures that lived on this planet were. They were definitely extraordinary. Of course, to the current him, a mere 10 times gravity was nothing. It was as good as nothing. The heaven and earth yuan qi here seems to be very active and violent. Xiaoping inhaled and exhaled the planet's heaven and earth yuan qi, and discovered that it was more active than the other planets in the Eastern universe. Furthermore, it contained a hint of violent factors, as if it could affect one's emotions. However, this didn't affect him much. When the heaven and earth yuan qi entered his body, it was instantly devoured and refined by the infernal golden crow bloodline. It's indeed violent. This is the special environment of the southern universe. Corinne said, the heaven and earth's origin energy contained in this universe's planets has a berserk factor. If a cultivator swallows this heaven and earth's origin energy over a long period of time, it will also lead to them having a violent factor. Their minds will always be filled with the idea of solving problems with violence, and they will get angry more easily than ordinary people. This is also why there are so many barbarians in the southern universe, as well as many demonic sections. This is simply the best place for demonic sects to grow. You have to be careful when you enter the southern universe this time. There are countless powerful demonic sects here, and the people of these sects have endless means. They are vicious and ruthless, slaughtering planets and civilians at every turn. They treat ordinary people as pigs, and as long as there is a need, they will harvest a batch. Although the cultivators of the Eastern universe are also arrogant and conceited, they have a bottom line when doing things. They are restrained by the various sects, but the Southern universe is different. They respect the strong, and the weak are prey to the strong. There are no rules to speak of, and there is no bottom line. Xiaoping nodded. In fact, he had also obtained a lot of information about the Southern universe from the virtual network. Many cultivators of the Eastern universe despised the cultivators of the Southern universe, calling them the Southern barbarians, who only thought with their muscles. Moreover, many people also thought that the Southern barbarians were very xenophobic, and at the same time very dangerous. They should not go to the Southern universe unless it was necessary. Even the cultivators of the Southern universe were aggressive by nature. In history, they had invaded the Eastern universe countless times, trying to burn, kill, and plunder resources. However, they had always been defeated, and they had never succeeded. Suddenly, a cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. The grassland around him trembled. Unknowingly, a large group of barbarians had surrounded him from all directions. There were hundreds and thousands of them. Chapter 1481. These are barbarians. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and realized that there were thousands of barbarian warriors here. Among them, there was an early-stage golden elixir, dozens of true fire, and a large number of transcendent barbarian warriors. He could sense that these barbarian warriors were engraved with complex and mysterious totems. There were dense patterns on them, and they were not random drawings. They were done deliberately and contained mysterious energy. It was like the power of a heaven and earth formation that communicated with the power of heaven and earth. It was said that there were many barbarian tribes in the Southern universe, and each tribe had their own totem. They could use their totem power to fight their enemies at any time and anywhere. Because of the totem power, they were not afraid of death and were extremely strong. They did not need treasures because they had been tempered into treasures themselves, and their physical strength was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end. When the Eastern Universe cultivators fought with the Southern Universe cultivators, because they were not familiar with each other, the barbarian warriors of the Southern Universe got close to them and slashed them to death. However, ordinary treasures were not damaged at all when bombarded by the barbarian warriors. This made the barbarian warriors even more arrogant, thinking that the people of the Eastern Universe were basically weak and could not withstand a single blow. Outsider, who exactly are you? Why have you come to this planet? A barbarian leader stood out. He was the golden elixir cultivator. He was 3 meters tall and had muscles all over his body like an iron tower. His body was engraved with dense totems on his face, arms, thighs, chest, and other parts. To the barbarian warriors, the more totems they had, the more powerful they were, and the higher their status. I'm a traveler from the Eastern Universe. I happen to pass by this planet, and hope to resupply on this planet. Don't worry, once I'm done with water, food, and other things, I'll leave immediately. I won't stay here for too long, Xiaoping said immediately. A weakling from the Eastern Universe? No wonder he doesn't have a totem on him, and looks so weak. So he's a loser from the Eastern Universe. It's said that the people of the Eastern Universe only rely on external objects and treasures. They don't train themselves. Without treasures, they're just trash that can be killed with a few punches and kicks. Indeed, I remember the last time they invaded the Eastern Cosmos. A mere warrior from an ordinary tribe killed over 100 Eastern Cosmos losers. You can imagine how weak they are. It can't be. This kind of trash can occupy a universe? Is this a joke? If our tribe goes there, we might be able to occupy hundreds of life planets and build a barbarian kingdom. Many barbarians started discussing among themselves. However, their eyes were filled with contempt and mockery as they looked at Xiaoping. It was as if they were looking at an ant. They didn't put him in their eyes at all. All right, I understand now. So you're a traveler from the Eastern Universe, which means that you're an outsider with no background or power to support you. The barbarian leader nodded. How about this? Hand over all your treasures, pills, materials, and the flying ship next to you. Become a slave of our tribe for 300 years and you'll live. He gave orders to Xiaoping arrogantly, completely treating him like a fat sheep to be slaughtered. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. I've long heard that barbarians are extremely rude, unreasonable, arrogant and despotic. They don't listen to others, and have no moral bottom line. I thought it was an exaggeration, but I didn't expect it to be true. I'm just a traveler who happened to pass by. I don't have any deep hatred with you guys. But you actually want to rob me of all my wealth, and make me a slave for 300 years? You guys are a little too much. He looked at this group of barbarians. Too much my ass. A barbarian warrior scolded. The Eastern Cosmos has its own rules, and the Southern Cosmos has its own rules. What do you know? Invading our tribe's territory without permission is a capital offense. Now, we're just asking you to hand over all your treasures and become a slave for 300 years. This is our tribe's kindness. We're giving you a chance to live, but you actually don't know how to cherish it. Do you believe that we won't kill you and rob you of all your treasures? You won't be able to do anything about it. He was filled with killing intent as he looked at Xiaoping with a cold smile. That's why I said that reading is still very useful. It allows me to speak calmly with you idiots. Come, since you guys want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. Go cripple this outsider's limbs. Don't kill him. He's a true Fire Realm slave after all. Capture him, put on a slave collar and sell him. It'll be a big profit. He's from the Eastern Cosmos, so the price is even higher. It's equivalent to a year of our tribe's annual income. The barbarian leader ordered, his eyes filled with greed. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, 10 elite barbarian warriors of the true Fire Realm rushed out. They naturally separated into different positions, as if they had formed a battle totem. Black Bear roar. The black bear totem on their backs immediately lit up. Every line was filled with dense magical power. The air behind them distorted, and a huge black bear vaguely appeared. It stood tall and roared at the sky. Their totem power from before converged together, and the chi of heaven and earth stirred, condensing into a black bear. It had thick fur and was tens of meters tall, like a small mountain. The muscles on these barbarians' bodies also swelled up, and their blood and chi surged into the sky. They were bursting with power, as if the power of an ancient black bear was exerted on them. Every step they took caused the ground to shake, and a deep pit was formed in the ground. It was really an ancient black bear, earth-shattering, and a beast king coming out of the mountains to wreak havoc in the world. If one was punched by them, even if they had magical treasures to protect themselves, they would be instantly beaten to the point of coughing up blood, and their bodies would explode. This was the extreme power of violence. At this moment, Xiaoping made his move. He took a step forward, punched the air, shook it, and exploded. He activated the Youthful Tharch longevity technique, and the Youthful Tharch body. The wood elemental power of heaven and earth gathered in his fist, and the surroundings were filled with a green aura. The earth trembled, and everything within a few hundred meters became a vacuum. Dong! Before the 10 barbarian warriors could even get close, they were crushed by the wind from the punch. Their bodies burst like balloons, and with a bang, they exploded on the spot, turning into minced meat. No matter how much they activated their totem power, they were as weak as chickens under this punch. In an instant, they turned into a cloud of blood mist and disappeared from this world. Many of the barbarian warriors, including the barbarian leader, were dumbfounded. The scene was dead silent. They could not imagine that 10 elite barbarian warriors of the true Fire Realm could be killed by this weakling from the Eastern Universe with a single punch. They turned into a cloud of blood, and nothing was left. They could not say anything, and their brains seemed to have short-circuited. What's wrong? Say something, just say it. Why can't you say anything now? Chapter 1482. The barbarian leader's face darkened. He was in a dilemma because Xiaoping's attack had instantly killed 10 true Fire Realm elite barbarian warriors. His ferocity was unparalleled. His strength had already reached the Golden Elixir realm. Even he, a barbarian powerhouse in the early Golden Elixir realm, could not easily kill 10 elite barbarian warriors in the true Fire Realm. If Xiaoping was just an ordinary true Fire Realm cultivator, they could kill him with a wave of their hands. But now it was different. This human from the Eastern Universe had displayed his untouchable strength. If the fight continued, Other than him, the other barbarian soldiers would die in the conflict between the Golden Elixir Realm cultivators, causing the barbarian tribe to suffer heavy losses. Say something, have you become mute? Didn't you say you wanted to rob me of all my treasures and make me a slave for 300 years? Do you still want that? Xiaoping sneered and stared at the barbarian soldiers. Outsider, don't be too arrogant. The barbarian leader held back his anger. I admit that I underestimated your strength. I didn't expect you to be able to fight a golden elixir master. This is indeed my fault. You have the right to enter and exit this planet. How about this? I won't hold it against you for killing my barbarian soldiers. And I won't hold it against you for invading the barbarian territory. How about you leave now, and we can coexist peacefully? Hearing this, Xiaoping laughed. I tried to talk to you nicely just now, but you're still acting tough here. You'll only know how powerful I am after you kill a few people. What is this called? Taking a beating but not taking a punishment, or bullying the weak and fearing the strong? But since you've started the war, it's not up to you to decide when to end it. Only your blood can appease my anger. Whoosh! In an instant, Xiaoping's figure flashed and closed in. He activated the youthful Dharch longevity technique and gathered a strong wood elemental yuan qi in his fist. Green runes appeared one after another. Vaguely, a world tree appeared behind him, connecting heaven and earth and the universe. It was all-encompassing and seemed to include earth, wind, water, fire, sun, moon, and the universe. His punch was like a piercing branch of the world tree, tearing through time and space, piercing through heaven and earth. It contained a terrifyingly sharp killing intent, indestructible and indestructible. Barbarian totem, undying black bear. Feeling the punch, the barbarian leader's hair stood on end. He immediately activated the totemic power in his body. Every drop of blood in his body boiled like lava. Every totem on his body appeared. Boundless heaven and earth yuan qi gathered on his body, condensing into a huge black bear, like a black bear king. This black bear king's strength was unparalleled. It was as if it had crossed through the ancient times and walked out from the uncivilized era. Every strand of its black fur was like a needle, and its body contained the strength to carry mountains. Boom! He also punched out, causing the earth to tremble. He seemed to have fused with the black bear totem and obtained the power of the ancient black bear. His body also rapidly expanded to a height of dozens of meters. At this moment, the barbarian leader had transformed into a black bear giant. He punched out with the force of a mountain. The surrounding space exploded inch by inch, and the earth rumbled. Shockingly deep craters appeared and soil flew everywhere. Such a terrifying punch was enough to flatten dozens of mountains in an instant. But this punch was completely useless. Xiaoping's punch was like a ray of light that streaked across the night sky. It was a ray of light that pierced through the dark sky. It contained the supreme aura of the world tree and was indestructible. Dong! The two fists collided, and the barbarian leader immediately let out a shrill scream. Blood burst out from his fist, splashing out hundreds of meters and dripping on the ground. Even the green wood element fist force traveled along his fist, inch by inch, seeping into his internal organs, and then into the deepest part of the barbarian leader's body. In an instant, this green wood element yuan qi immediately took root in the barbarian leader's body, devouring the endless blood aura in his body and growing stronger. Xiaoping moved his mind, and with a boom, this green yuan qi immediately turned into a towering tree, growing out of the barbarian leader's body. In an instant, his entire body exploded and was torn into pieces. A golden core barbarian was killed just like that. The leader is dead. Quick retreat. This is a murderer from the Eastern Universe. We can't fight him. Retreat immediately, or we will definitely die. We will block this murderer for a while. Take the opportunity to escape. Don't look back. Seeing the barbarian leader killed with a punch, the remaining barbarian elite soldiers felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. They shuddered, knowing that they had really provoked a big shot that they could not afford to provoke. They regretted it so much that their intestines turned green. If they had not provoked this cultivator from the Eastern Universe, perhaps this would not have happened. But it was too late to say anything now. Some elite soldiers also roared. They were unafraid of death, and wanted to stop Xiaoping for a while. There were also barbarian soldiers who gritted their teeth. They knew that they could not do anything, so they quickly fled to preserve some vitality for their tribe. Therefore, they were divided into two groups. One group wanted to stop Xiaoping, and buy time, while the other group quickly fled. It's useless. None of you can escape. Xiaoping's eyes were indifferent and very cold. He was like a god, equal to all living beings. Since even the other party's leader had been killed, these barbarian soldiers could not be let go. After all, who knew what other powerful forces these barbarians had behind them? If these barbarians were allowed to leave alive and call for reinforcements, they would probably cause endless trouble. A problem like this had to be eliminated at the root to prevent any future troubles. Azure Dharch Longevity Technique, Omniscient Nature. Xiaoping cast a spell, manipulating the wood elemental qi of heaven and earth. A large array emerged from the depths of the earth. Densely packed array patterns appeared, gathering a vast amount of wood elemental qi. The tree of world in his body was also trembling, instilling endless wood elemental energy into it, making the array even more powerful and unfathomable. It was as if a divine tree was awakening. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately, green vines emerged from the depths of the earth. Like god-slaying spears, they shot out from the ground, tearing the earth apart, and piercing the barbarians' bodies in an instant. In just a few breaths, green vines covered a radius of 100 miles, as if the area had turned into a forest. Every step was filled with killing intent, and every plant was an enemy. These barbarian soldiers screamed and tried to resist, but it was of no use. Bang bang bang. After a while, thousands of elite barbarians were killed. None of them could escape more than a mile away. They had just moved when their bodies were pierced by the vines. Chapter 1483. After killing these barbarians, Xiaoping also obtained a lot of elixirs from them. They seemed to be from this desolate planet, and contained powerful medicinal power. At the same time, he also obtained a jar of fierce beast blood from these barbarians. This blood was the essence of the beasts they killed. If the blood of these beasts was refined into a medicinal liquid and smeared on the body, or if one took a medicinal bath, it could temper the body and allow the human body to undergo a powerful evolution, comparable to that of a fierce beast. The reason why these barbarian warriors were strong was not only because their physique was strong enough, but also because of the totem cultivation method. More importantly, it was because of the continuous tempering of the fierce beast blood. In addition to these things, he also found a lot of spirit stones and a mountain of materials. It could be said that he had made a small fortune. As for the golden core of the barbarian leader, it was also in Xiaoping's hands. As long as he could find the soul-cleansing grass, he could refine a pill. Huh? What is this? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. From the storage ring of the barbarian leader, he found a wooden totem. It looked like an elephant, and emitted a sacred aura. It was obviously just an ordinary totem, but it gave him the feeling that the elephant was alive. Its every movement contained a terrifying power, as if it could shatter a planet with just a lift of its trunk. Why is there an elephant totem? Xiaoping knew that these barbarian tribes in the southern universe could obtain the power of heaven and earth by visualizing the totem, making themselves stronger. The weaker tribes would visualize ordinary totems like black bears, foxes, wolves, and so on. The barbarians could obtain the strength of black bears, the speed of wolves, the charm of foxes, and so on. But the stronger tribes would visualize divine beasts like Swanee, nine-headed bird, Jiaotu Swanee, phoenix, and so on. The warriors of these powerful tribes would have a trace of the divine beast's power. If the totem they visualized was stronger, then the barbarians would naturally obtain more power. Of course, it did not mean that as long as they visualized it, they would definitely succeed. This required enough talent. If they did not have enough talent, even if they visualized the totem in front of them, they would not be able to obtain any power. This is not an ordinary elephant. Xiaoping stared at the totem and found that there were mysterious lines on the wooden totem, giving off a profound and unfathomable aura. It was indomitable and had a trace of the might of a divine beast. His spiritual power seeped in, and it was as if he could sense the terrifying power of an ancient divine elephant. Every cell seemed to have earth-shattering power that could suppress the universe. Could it be the legendary heaven-devouring elephant? Xiaoping was startled. After all, he had obtained the soul-cleansing grass this time, so before he got it, there was no need to cause trouble. Whoosh! Soon, Xiaoping arrived at the location indicated by the wish compass. It was a mysterious valley surrounded by a gray fog, so he could not see the situation in the valley. However, according to the instructions of the wish compass, the soul-cleansing grass should be in this valley. Huh! Someone beat me to it. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He sensed that there was a formation outside the valley, and it seemed to be sealed. Although ordinary people could not see it, it could not hide from his hell-golden crow eye. This was a space formation, which was also very famous in the universe. It was called the Eight Gates Sealing Formation. Moreover, this formation had not been there for a long time. There were signs of loosening in the surrounding soil, which meant that this formation had been set up recently. Who is it? All of a sudden, before Xiaoping could break the formation, an angry roar came from the depths of the valley. It was like the roar of a ferocious tiger, earth-shattering, and contained endless murderous intent. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, dozens of figures flew out from the depths of the valley. There were men and women, and they were all at least at the true fire realm. There were also 7 to 8 golden elixir realm cultivators, and even late-stage golden elixir realm experts. All of them wore the same uniform, which was a Taoist robe with the word poison embroidered on the back. It looked like it was condensed from venom, and it was like a venomous snake, emanating a strange and terrifying aura. Even the aura on these people was very unusual. It was like a venomous scorpion, venomous snake, jellyfish, spiders, and so on. Standing on the ground, the black aura instantly corroded the soil, causing the weeds to wither and turn black, as though they had been poisoned to death. Some people began to suspect that a traitor had appeared in the Wandu clan and leaked this information. The problem was, if it was really leaked, why was there only one person who came? And he was only in the true fire realm. This kid coming here was no different from courting death. I don't know if it's a top secret or not, but I'm determined to get the soul-cleansing grass in this valley. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm a person with a great background. I have the support of a sage. If you know what's good for you, scram immediately. Otherwise, when I get angry, none of you will be able to escape. Don't even think about attacking me. Otherwise, if you anger the great power behind me, blood will flow like a river in your Wandu clan, and even saints will fall. In the universe, the most important ability is to adapt to the circumstances. Don't be like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. I hope you're not too stupid, and do something that you'll regret for the rest of your lives. He looked at everyone disdainfully, like a hedonistic son of a rich family, not putting anyone in his eyes. He warned the Wandu clan disciples present, like a boss scolding his own employees. What? Hearing this, all the Wandu clan disciples present were driven mad. They were so angry that smoke came out of their nostrils. They simply wanted to immediately slaughter this arrogant kid and dismember his body into 10,000 pieces. They were the Wandu clan disciples, the demonic path's proud sons of heaven, who were proficient in poison techniques. They had always been lawless, who could still flaunt their prowess above their heads and use their power to oppress others. But this kid was good. Not only did he not feel the slightest bit of fear towards their identity as Wandu clan disciples, he even dared to oppress them in front of their faces. His arrogance was boundless. Damn it, this kid is too arrogant. Senior brother, kill this guy immediately. Yeah, I don't know where this guy came from, but he actually dares to talk nonsense to us. Don't tell me that the world doesn't know how powerful our Wandu clan is. I'm going to poison him so that he'll wish he was dead. Who cares what his identity is? A person who dares to run amok in front of our Wandu clan hasn't even been born yet. Many Wandu clan disciples gnashed their teeth. They communicated with each other, using their divine senses. They were very fierce and dissatisfied with Xiaoping. They even had a trace of killing intent. Don't be anxious. This guy is so arrogant. I think he might have something to rely on. That's true. This kid is just a junior in the true fire realm. He actually dared to retort in front of so many of us. He's either stupid or he has a trump card. I don't think he's stupid. And there's another question. How did this guy know that there's soul-cleansing grass in this valley? It can't be that our Wandu clan people leaked it. I once heard that someone is proficient in fortune-telling. He can calculate the opening time of various ruins and predict the birth of various elixirs and secret treasures. Maybe this kid's elders are proficient in this secret skill and gave him the information about the soul-cleansing grass. Is he that powerful to be able to predict the soul-cleansing grass? Can't he predict that his life is in danger? Although fortune-telling is powerful, it's not omnipotent. It's already impressive to be able to predict the location of the secret treasure. Many perfected golden cores were very cautious. Although they were disciples of the demonic cult, they were not arrogant and conceited. Instead, they were more cautious than ordinary people. Xiaoping's arrogance made them not dare to act rashly. Senior brother, if this kid is really a disciple of a big clan, he must have many secret treasures. If we can kill him, won't all his treasures be ours? He's a fat sheep. That's right. No matter which clan he's from, our Wandu clan is not afraid of anything. If we kill him, we kill him. Would they dare to find trouble with our Wandu clan? Aren't they afraid of death? Don't worry. We can kill such a useless true fire realm at any time. We can pinch him to death with one finger. How much of a threat can such a useless person pose to us? On the contrary, keeping this kid alive will be beneficial to us. We can kill him with a borrowed knife. We can use his life to distract the powerful beast in the valley and let the beast kill him. Then, we can take the opportunity to enter the valley and plunder the soul-cleansing grass. Moreover, it doesn't matter if he has a background. Anyway, it's the beast that killed him, not us. Even if it were to be reported to the elders, we would still be in the right. This is killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Brilliant. Truly brilliant. Senior brother, you're indeed a schemer. In this way, not only can we distract the beast in the valley and take the opportunity to obtain a large amount of soul-cleansing grass, we can also kill him with a borrowed knife. This kid will work for us and be the bait. None of our Wandu clan disciples will die. This is great. Let him be arrogant now. He doesn't know that he has long fallen into our trap. When he knows the truth, I'm afraid he will cry on the spot. Chapter 1486. Seeing Xiaoping step into the valley, Qin Shi and the others immediately smiled and felt relieved. This kid stepping into the valley meant that he had entered their territory. No matter how many powerful trump cards this guy had, once he entered their territory, even if he was a dragon, he would have to lie down. And even if he was a tiger, he would have to lie down. Xiaoping knew the thoughts of this group of 1,000 Poison Clan disciples like the back of his hand. However, he did not care. After all, under absolute strength, this group of people would not be able to stir up any waves. Is this the soul-gathering fruit? It looks like it'll take at least a month to ripen. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked at the soul-gathering fruit in the middle of the valley. The spirit fruit was far from ripe. However, waiting for more than a month was too long. He didn't want to waste time here, so he decided to accelerate the ripening of this spiritual fruit. The fire of life. With a swoosh, Xiaoping circulated the flame of life within his body. A wisp of green flame seeped through the void and entered the body of the spirit fruit without anyone noticing. Rumble, immediately, the soul-gathering fruit seemed to have received a great tonic. A whirlpool formed in its body, and a huge amount of primordial qi in the surrounding void rushed into the body of the fruit, like a whale nibbling away at food. Vaguely, the patterns on the fruit became even clearer, as if it was engraved with many heaven and earth array formations. There were even many soul phantoms appearing behind the fruit, creating a phenomenon of heaven and earth. At the same time, it also emitted a boundless fragrance that spread out for miles. This was not an ordinary fragrance, but a fragrance that came from the soul. It was captivating, and it was impossible to control one's emotions. The countless soul-cleansing grass on the ground were all swaying, cheering in joy. They were also growing crazily, as if they had obtained great benefits. Roar! Such a change immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding wild beasts. One by one, They climbed up from the ground and roared towards the sky. Their eyes were filled with excitement as they stared at the soul-gathering fruit that was about to ripen. To savage beasts, the soul-gathering fruit was extremely beneficial. It could awaken one's intelligence and increase one's soul energy significantly. This was the key to advancing one's cultivation to the next level. And there was no room for mistakes. Naturally, many disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan also noticed this situation. Look, something happened to the soul-gathering fruit. My God, it's about to ripen. Didn't they say that the soul-gathering fruit would take more than a month to ripen? How did he suddenly mature so quickly? What exactly happened? It's said that it will take another month to ripen, but that's just an estimate. After all, this is a spiritual fruit, a treasure of heaven and earth. It's normal for something special to happen. Don't think about why. Just take action later and snatch the soul-cleansing grass and soul-gathering fruit. Don't let these two treasures be ruined by this group of savage beasts. These are treasures that belong to our Wandu clan. That's right. It's better for them to mature faster. That way, we won't have to wait here for a month. Many of the 10,000 Poison Clan disciples were very excited. Although the soul-gathering fruit matured faster than they had imagined, the news of the soul-gathering fruit soon still made them incomparably happy. Haha. Xiaoping suddenly burst into laughter. The soul-gathering fruit has finally ripened. Sure enough, the heavens are looking after me. The spirit fruit has ripened as soon as I arrived. This is the heaven's instruction. Quickly kill these beasts and bring me the soul-amassing fruits. I will reward you handsomely later. Everyone will get a share. I Wu Wudi will not mistreat the servants who work for me. He waved his hand, intending to command the group of Wandu clan disciples to bring him the soul-gathering fruit. But at this moment, a terrifying gravitational force suddenly came from this area. It was as if dozens of mountains were crushing down, instantly controlling Xiaoping and making him unable to move. Idiot! Qin Shi walked over and sneered. He looked at Xiaoping with disdain and said, I gave you some face just now, but you really think you are the boss? You think you can scare us with just a few words? You overestimate yourself and are stupid to the extreme. I have never seen a fool like you. You will stay here, and we will hide nearby. Then this defensive array will be completely exposed, and you will be the bait to attract those savage beasts. Then, dozens of restrictive arrays in this area will explode instantly, producing an earth-shattering power. This power is enough to blow you and those savage beasts to death. Wu Wudi, thank you for coming. Otherwise, we would not be able to find such a good bait. But don't worry. After you die, all the treasures on you will belong to us. We will make sure that the treasures on you are worth it. You don't have to worry about the pearls being covered in dust. Of course, if you have a wife, you can entrust her to us and help you take good care of her. Brothers, the soul-amassing fruits are about to ripen. Let's do it now. Kill those stupid savage beasts and this good-for-nothing son of a bitch. Let's reap the benefits. Bang! Just as he finished speaking, all of a sudden, the surrounding restrictive spell formation instantly exploded. It was torn apart by a terrifying force, and all the spell formation foundations were blown to smithereens. The surrounding Wandu clan disciples who were close to Xiaoping did not expect such a thing to happen. Their bodies felt like they were hit by savage clan disciples, and they were sent blood in midair and retreated hundreds of meters. They were seriously injured on the spot. Whoosh! In the next second, a figure disappeared from where he stood. It was as if he had escaped into a different dimension. The Wandu clan disciples present did not know how Xiaoping left. At the same time, because of the explosion of this tyrannical force, all the restrictive arrays were torn apart. The sound of the explosion spread throughout the valley and immediately alarmed the many savage beasts in the center of the valley. Roar! Originally, the soul-amassing fruits were about to ripen. Many savage beasts were very vigilant, as if they were facing a great enemy. Now such a sudden change happened. There were humans lying in ambush. This matter was like poking a hornet's nest. Many tyrannical savage beasts stared at the group of Wandu clan disciples. They were filled with murderous intent, and their eyes were filled with murderous light. These murderous lights condensed into a substance. Like laser beams, They pierced through the void and intertwined with each other. Bastard! Qinshi was shocked and angry, seeing that the surrounding restrictive arrays were broken, and their traces were completely exposed. He was immediately scared out of his wits by so many tyrannical savage beasts. Damn you, Wu Wuti! That despicable, shameless bastard. Before he left, he actually destroyed our restrictive spell formation and exposed our whereabouts. He's trying to kill us. How did that bastard know the weakness of our restrictive arrays? He actually destroyed the nodes of the arrays with one strike, causing the restrictive arrays to collapse. Could he be a master of arrays? Don't think so much. Retreat. Quickly retreat. There are so many savage beasts in the valley. If we don't escape, we will die. The group of Wandu clan disciples turned pale with fright. They were terrified. Their hatred for Xiaoping had reached its peak. If they had the chance to catch him, they would have torn this despicable slut apart. They were actually faced with such a life and death crisis because of a moment of carelessness. All of them regretted it so much that their intestines turned green. If they had known earlier, they would have killed this slut Wu Wuti. Chapter 1487. One after another, savage beasts charged out of the valley. They were extremely ferocious, and their ferocious might shook the heavens and earth. Although they were savage beasts and did not have high intelligence, they knew that those who were not of the same race would not be of the same mind. Moreover, they had fought with humans for countless years and had long formed a life and death enmity. Upon seeing these humans appear, they actually laid in ambush and attempted to snatch the soul-gathering fruits. This was bad. These savage beasts did not say a word and immediately joined hands. They planned to kill this group of humans before discussing how to split the soul-gathering fruits. Otherwise, if they killed each other, this group of humans might benefit from it. Swoosh! A ferocious bird the size of a small mountain flew over from the sky. It stretched out its claws and tore the heavens and earth. Even a mountain would be easily torn into two. It contained supreme sharpness. Its speed was extremely fast. With a flap of its wings, it instantly left its original spot and charged towards the Wandu clan disciples. Dong! A violent ape jumped up from where it was. Dense blood runes appeared on its body and seemed to have condensed into armor. It was like a raging monster that crushed over, causing the ground to crack. The surrounding Wandu clan disciples could feel the immense strength of this violent ape. It was as though if they were hit by this savage beast's fist, they would basically be crippled and their entire body would be turned into mincemeat. Boom! A golden lion roared towards the sky, emitting sound waves that were so solid that they shook the heavens and earth. Sound runes blasted over, condensing into blades, swords, arrows, hammers, and other weapons in the air. Even if they were wearing defensive treasures, they would still be severely injured. Bang bang bang! Many Wandu clan disciples immediately joined hands and instantly set up a defensive formation. Hundreds of layers of energy barriers stacked up and covered the entire area. But when these savage beasts attacked, they instantly pierced through the hundreds of layers of energy barriers and exploded. Some of the Wandu clan disciples immediately cried out in pain and coughed out blood on the spot. Each and every one of the Wandu clan's disciples was even also unable to restrain their anger. Masters it had always been them plotting against their enemies, forced to retreat. When had they ever been plotted against by their enemies? I will remember you. This was the first time they had suffered such a big loss. Or I will definitely skin you alive. All of them gnashed their teeth and swore to take revenge on this extreme hatred. Idiot. Originally, at this moment, he wanted to plot against Xiaoping was hiding in a nearby corner. Use him as bait. To use the power of the mountain river pearls to come by the other party and conceal his aura, and even attract as if he was in a different dimension. Savage beasts this kind of concealment technique causing their lungs extremely to be severely injured. The 10,000 poison clan disciples and coming home and the many savage beasts present did not expect that there would be a person eyeing them covetously at the side. He didn't plan to make a move either. He stayed on the sidelines and watched the tigers fight. Stupid beasts. You are still far from becoming my Wandu clan's enemy. Martial Path Divine Ability, Viper Chaotic Sky Technique. Qinshi shouted angrily and displayed the supreme poison divine ability of Wandu clan. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, a terrifying poisonous gas was emitted from his body. Poisonous gas runes appeared and rapidly condensed into black poisonous snakes that were 3 feet long. They soared through the clouds and flew in midair. There were many of these black poisonous snakes. When tens of thousands of them gathered together, it was as if they had formed a black poisonous fog. It covered the sky and covered a radius of a few miles. Kill! Qin activated the power of his divine ability. Tens of thousands of black poisonous snakes formed a huge array. Poisonous fog filled the sky as they charged towards the group of savage beasts. Bang bang bang. These black poisonous snakes were extremely terrifying. In an instant, they tore apart the tough skin of the savage beasts. Their teeth bit in, and the venom instantly seeped into their bodies. Roar, roar, roar. The savage beasts let out angry and sorrowful roars. Their bodies turned black at a speed visible to the naked eye, as they were corroded by the venom. In a few breaths' time, the vitality in their bodies was extinguished. However, there were some savage beasts with extremely strong vitality that could resist the venom. Such an action not only didn't kill these savage beasts, but it made them even angrier. They stimulated the power of their bloodline and became extremely violent. They charged forward and instantly killed a golden core perfected cultivator, tearing his body apart on the spot. Bastard, die, die, die. Die. Qin and the rest went crazy. This was a battle of life and death. No one could avoid it. If they didn't fight with their lives on the line, they would die in the hands of these savage beasts. The savage beasts were the same. They tore and slammed crazily. They used all their skills and fought in a bloody battle. The earth trembled. Mountains were shattered and leveled to the ground by the aftershocks
An hour
of
later,
the battle between both parties was even more intense. The scope of the battle wasn't just limited to the valley. It had even spread to thousands of kilometers around the valley. The battle caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. The mountains and rivers were shattered. Although the number of golden core perfected cultivators in Wandu clan was few, they were after all disciples of a saint-class sect. Furthermore, they were disciples of Devil Dao. They had endless methods and used various poison techniques. Even though these savage beasts had strong physiques, they were still much weaker than the disciples of Wandu clan. With the help of powerful poison techniques, the savage beasts were poisoned to death one after another. Of course, there were many casualties among the disciples of Wandu clan. There were even 2 or 3 golden core perfected cultivators who had their bodies torn apart by the savage beasts. Their golden cores were swallowed whole. They died horribly. Good chance. Xiaoping waited for an hour. Finally, the battle between the two parties had reached a climax. Both parties were fighting with all their might. It was impossible for them to stop in a short period of time. Swoosh! His figure flashed, and he immediately appeared in the middle of the valley. With a grab, he stored the soul-gathering fruit into the space of the mountain river Pearl. At the same time, the soul-cleansing grass on the ground was swept clean like a hurricane. Even the weeds were uprooted, leaving nothing behind. After doing all that, Xiaoping didn't stay in the same place and fled out of the valley. Damn it! Qin and the rest naturally sensed the aura fluctuations from Xiaoping and the changes in the valley. The soul-cleansing grass and soul-gathering fruit were all snatched away by this bitch. Damn you, Wu Wuti! I'll never forgive you. Some of the golden core perfected cultivators were fuming with anger. They had fought hard against the savage beasts and lost dozens of Wandu clan disciples. 3 golden core perfected cultivators were also torn apart by the savage beasts. Yet they didn't get anything. Yet, this kid hid at the side and left after snatching the soul-gathering fruit and soul-cleansing grass when they weren't paying attention. All the benefits had been taken away by him, leaving nothing behind. They were extremely resentful and couldn't wait to chase after Wu Wuti and kill him. Chapter 1488. Xiaoping ignored the anger of Qin and the rest. After he left the valley, he left the planet with stars. Since he had already obtained the soul-cleansing grass, There was no need for him to stay on the planet. Moreover, this was the southern universe, the territory of the Thousand Poison Clan. Now that he had offended Qin Shi and the other disciples of the Thousand Poison Clan, who knew how many people they would bring to find trouble with him? Perhaps some elders would be involved. Therefore, Xiaoping left immediately, so that no matter how angry they were, they couldn't find anyone to take revenge on, and could only hold it in. This soul-gathering fruit is really magical. Xiaoping sat in a quiet room, and took out the soul-gathering fruit. He looked at it carefully, and could feel the miraculousness of the spirit fruit. It seemed to be a strange fruit that was born from devouring the spirit energy of heaven and earth. Even though his soul force was powerful now, after refining this soul-gathering fruit, it would still be of great benefit to him. The fruit even seemed to have the ability to absorb the nearby souls. Although it wasn't as overbearing as the soul-devouring beast's ability, it could also gradually increase his soul power. Therefore, the soul-gathering fruit was extremely precious and priceless. One could imagine that the disciples of the Thousand Poison Clan had lost the soul-gathering fruit and wasted months of effort. The hatred in their hearts was probably going to explode the planet. As for the soul-cleansing grass, the green bull had already obtained it. A part of it was used to refine the golden elixir, while the other part was planted. This way, he could obtain the soul-cleansing grass continuously and didn't have to look for it elsewhere. I wonder what the soul-gathering fruit tastes like. At the thought of this, Xiaoping swallowed the soul-gathering fruit. It melted in his mouth and turned into a liquid that quickly flowed into his limbs and bones before surging into the depths of his brain. Boom! Xiaoping felt that the soul-gathering fruit seemed to have turned into a mysterious gray energy that quickly integrated into the depths of his soul. His soul power was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. His purple mansion space also seemed to benefit from the growth of his soul power, as it kept expanding. In just a few breaths, his purple mansion space had expanded by 1/3 Furthermore, compared to before.
This ability was much safer
had
than
also
the
reached a
soul-devouring
shocking
beast's
level.
ability.
Even a
It was like a
cultivator
thin
at the
streak
peak
of the
flowing
golden
for a long
elixir
time
realm was far from
dripping
him.
water could
At the
wear
same
through a
time,
stone. He also felt that
as
his soul power
seemed to have
grew.
undergone some
Xiaoping
changes.
felt as if
The
the golden
mysterious
crow cells in
rune
his
appeared
body
and
had been condensed
completely
into a
activated.
vortex. One after
Constantly
another,
devouring
the
the
golden
soul
crow
power
cells were
that
unsealed.
permeated the depths
1,000,
of the void.
5,000,
Although this ability didn't
10,000,
bring immediate results to
20,000,
Xiaoping,
in the end,
the growth of his
the
soul
number
power
of infernal
was
golden
still
crow
quite
cells in his
astonishing
body had
after
reached
accumulating
1,000,000
for a long
His
time.
magic power was also increasing rapidly, constantly filling up the empty space of his purple palace. His power was also rising steadily. The massive golden crow of hell's energy tempered his body, causing every drop of blood in his body to turn into dark golden flames. His power was invincible. However, before he could rejoice, he immediately felt his heart palpitate. He could not help but look at the cosmic vacuum outside the spaceship. This seemed to have reached a critical point. An aura that made one's heart palpitate appeared in the depths of the void, as if a heavenly tribulation was brewing. Lightning energy madly gathered, as if it was about to be struck by lightning. Oh no! I have to find a planet to undergo the heavenly tribulation as soon as possible. Xiaoping did not expect that consuming a soul-gathering fruit would improve his golden crow of hell bloodline by a lot, awakening 1,000,000 golden crow of hell cells. If it were any other time, he would be very happy. However, he was piloting the Myriad Star and was in outer space. It was not a good thing to undergo the heavenly tribulation in such a place. Don't worry, there's a planet nearby. The Myriad Star can immediately pass through the wormhole and travel there. Corinne also sensed that Xiaoping's current situation was very dangerous. It seemed that the aura of the tribulation was spreading, and it was extremely terrifying. Swoosh! In an instant, the Myriad Star was activated at full speed and traveled through the void. In the next second, it arrived at a primitive planet nearby. Xiaoping immediately got out of the spaceship and flew in the air. At this moment, the entire primitive planet was covered in dark clouds, as if a black cloud had wrapped the planet. It was airtight, and terrifying lightning energy was brewing in the depths of the clouds. Wormholes even opened outside the planet. It was as if countless terrifying lightning energy was going to pour out from the depths of the wormholes and destroy the creatures that this universe did not tolerate. I'm facing the 45th lightning tribulation this time? It's more than a few times stronger than the previous lightning tribulation. Xiaoping's expression was solemn as he sensed the terrifying lightning energy brewing in the dark clouds. Vaguely, it seemed that the lightning transformed into the phantom of a deity. There was a thunder god descending, holding a spear, a drum, a heavy hammer and other weapons, wanting to destroy all evil in the world. Oh, another bloodline god art. Suddenly Xiaoping had an idea. He formed a seal with both hands, and a huge black furnace appeared in the depths of the void. It was mysterious and unfathomable, and densely packed ancient characters appeared on it. Some were chaotic characters, as if they had been born since the beginning of chaos. They represented supremacy, antiquity, chaos, and seemed to be the power of the source. Some were flame characters, and each character represented the true essence of fire, containing the power to destroy the world. It was as if a drop of fire could turn into an indestructible flaming mountain that would burn for thousands of years. Some were characters from hell, twisting like primordial godworms. They were like supreme scriptures, representing the power of hell, the six Taos, reincarnation, destruction, redemption, and all sorts of other things. These characters intertwined with each other, engraved on the surface of the black furnace. It was as if an ancient fiend god had engraved a supreme scripture onto it, filled with terrifying power. Ordinary cultivators would feel as if their brains were about to explode if they looked at it. They would feel as if their heads were about to explode, and their heads would ache to the point of bursting to death. He knew that this time, he had awakened the bloodline divine ability of the Golden Crow of Hell, the Hellfire Crucible. Originally, Xiaoping's Dantian region had a solar crucible that could incinerate all sorts of strange true energy, magical power, and other types of energy. It was powerful enough to devour all energy in the world and expel impurities. The solar crucible was only useful for cultivation and didn't have much offensive power. But the Hellfire Crucible was different. It was the innate divine ability of the Golden Crow of Hell, an offensive divine ability. Once it was unleashed, it could melt the heavens and incinerate the earth. Even fiend gods would be refined to death, just like Taoist Tai's pill furnace. With this divine ability, he could defend against all attacks and completely refine the divine abilities and secret arts of his enemies, reducing them to ashes. Chapter 1489. Bang bang bang. Just then up in the sky, the aura of the thunder tribulation reached its peak. Thick bolts of purple lightning rained down, hundreds and thousands of them. Every purple thunderbolt could easily kill a true fire realm cultivator. Hundreds and thousands of thunderbolts could even severely injure a golden elixir realm cultivator. Hellfire Crucible. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping used this bloodline mystique. The Hellfire Crucible appeared above his head, and countless bolts of purple lightning rained down on it. The Hellfire Crucible spun, and countless hellish characters moved, forming a scripture. It was as if a Taotai had appeared, opening its mouth and swallowing the purple lightning. Whoosh! Xiaoping activated the Hellfire Crucible, and the Golden Crow Inferno in the depths of the Hellfire Crucible spun slowly like a millstone. The purple lightning was immediately refined into the purest form of energy. Next, a mysterious lightning-type rune appeared within him, formed from the Chaos Thunder technique. On the surface, it looked like a rune, but it actually contained a space of lightning. It was like a sea of lightning, swallowing up the pure lightning energy. The space of lightning had been empty, but after swallowing the lightning, it filled up a portion, making the rune's aura stronger and stronger. It contained the aura of the thunder tribulation. This also made Xiaoping's Chaos Thunder technique improve qualitatively, and his Thunder Emperor body, seemed to become even stronger. Rumble, it seemed that Xiaoping's arrogant actions had angered the heavenly tribulation even more. The dark clouds that had covered the entire planet began to shrink, compress, and compress. After a few minutes, the dark clouds were only 100 miles wide. They were so thick that they were hundreds of kilometers long, like the atmosphere. Spaceships could not break through them. Although the area of the heavenly tribulation had shrunk, the power of the thunder tribulation was extremely dense. It was many times more terrifying than before, and if a bolt of purple lightning struck down, it could instantly reduce a mountain to ashes. Come on! Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He activated all the magic in his body, and every cell in his body exploded with power, making the Hellfire Crucible even more terrifying. No matter how unwilling the heavenly tribulation was, no matter how much lightning there was, when the thunder tribulation by the Hellfire Crucible clouds was exhausted. This was the clash between the heavenly tribulation and the golden crow to its original state. The 45th lightning tribulation lasted for an entire day and night of relief. It seemed as if the mana within his body was not thick and strong until Xiaoping was dead. He had been struck by the tribulation lightning for an entire day and night. His body might be able to endure it, couldn't do anything, but his mind might not be able to. As soon as it touched the crucible, he felt that his soul was very tired, absorbed and used as fuel for his primal chaos. However, lightning magic. He had also gained a lot from this thunder tribulation. His strength and magic power had increased explosively. Chaos lightning art. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light, and there seemed to be pure thunder energy revolving in the depths of his pupils. There was also a thunder talisman residing in the depths of his Zifu space. There was a dimension within the talisman that had devoured most of the tribulation lightning power, turning it into a sea of lightning that contained boundless power. Every single cell in his body was filled with the power of lightning, and his lightning emperor body had reached a higher level. It was as if he could form a bolt of lightning that could control billions and billions of volts of lightning. Dong! He flipped his hand over, and a bolt of lightning appeared in his palm. It was like a lightning god throwing a spear, and in the blink of an eye, it pierced through dozens of mountains. In fact, a fissure hundreds of kilometers long appeared in the ground, and the surrounding soil was scorched by the lightning. Plumes of black smoke rose up, and even the rocks were melted into lava. It could be said that this attack was twice as powerful as his previous attack, and its penetrative power was terrifying to an astonishing degree. Even a golden core spiritual master would not be able to withstand an attack like this. His body would be pierced through, and his soul would be destroyed. Not even the self-detonation of his golden core could do anything about it. What powerful lightning power! Xiaoping stood up, and his body flickered. Suddenly, the lightning power in his body surged out, as if turning his body into lightning. In an instant, his body turned into a bolt of lightning, and he moved dozens of kilometers in an instant. In midair, there was only a trace of lightning left, and the air smelled of burning. Boom! Xiaoping's fingers drew gently, and a lightning longsword appeared, splitting the ground in an instant. It drew hundreds of kilometers of marks, and the mountains in the distance were cut in half. He felt that his every move was like a divine beast, like a Kuei ox that had mastered the true essence of lightning. Abundant spiritual power, peak midstage true fire realm. Thanks to the lightning essence, Xiaoping also filled his Zifu space with spiritual power. He was just one step away from advancing to the late-stage true fire realm and stepping into a new realm. In reality, if not for the fact that he had swallowed the soul-gathering fruit, which resulted in the expansion of his Zifu space and the need to devour more energy to form spiritual power, this bit of lightning essence would have been enough for him to advance to the late-stage true fire realm. But this was also a good thing. The stronger one's martial arts foundation was, the greater one's future achievements would be. Another day passed, and Xiaoping stayed in a mountain on this primitive planet. He cultivated quietly, comprehending the insights he had gained from the thunder trial, and at the same time, the lightning power in his body that had skyrocketed. Originally, he wanted to continue cultivating. Suddenly the system's voice sounded, "Host, please take note. A powerful enemy is approaching with murderous intent. Please be careful." Hearing this voice, Xiaoping opened his eyes and stopped cultivating. His pupils revealed a trace of frightening light. He immediately understood the system's warning that an enemy was approaching him. It's Qin Shi, that Wandu clan disciple. Xia Ping sensed the warning from the system. He immediately knew that the enemy this time was Qin Shi. The other party had tracked him from another planet, and with a spaceship, he had actually tracked him down. Swoosh! At this moment, a spaceship immediately appeared above the planet's atmosphere. Then, hundreds of Wandu clan disciples flew out from the spaceship. Among them, there were more than 10 Golden Core Realm Masters, and dozens of true Fire Realm disciples. They stood in midair, scattered everywhere. Their divine senses scanned the surroundings, as though they were trying to sense the life aura of this planet. Chapter 1490. Yes, Senior Brother Lu Wen. Qin Shi lowered his head and said respectfully, "Before that kid left, I have already planted the aura of the poisonous gas worm in him. Even if we are separated by countless light years, there will still be traces of the aura. It will not dissipate for several months. According to the tracking of the aura, the kid must have stayed on this planet. He definitely can't escape." He was very respectful to the young man in front of him, not only because he was strong and had reached the peak of the Gold Core realm, but more importantly, Lu Wen's father was an elder of the Wandu clan. He could not afford to offend such a person. Originally, Qin Shi wanted to hunt Xia Ping alone and take the soul-gathering fruit for himself. However, he thought that the kid had extraordinary means. If it was just him, he was afraid that he would not be able to capture the kid. Therefore, he gathered many of his fellow brothers and sisters. Even eldest senior brother Lu Wen came personally. After all, the soul-cleansing grass and the soul-gathering fruit were precious treasures for Lu Wen. Once he obtained them, he would become rich and could exchange them for countless cultivation resources. Really? In that case, why can't we find the kid's specific location? Lu Wen narrowed his eyes and stared at Qin Shi. Well, the aura of the poisonous bugs on the kid suddenly disappeared yesterday. Maybe the kid found something. However, I'm sure that he must still be on this planet. Qin Shi was very depressed. He thought that his means were secretive, and the kid could not find him. He did not expect the aura of the poisonous bugs to be removed by the kid. It was really incredible. However, he probably did not expect that Xia Ping had experienced the Thunder Tribulation. Under the 45th Thunder Tribulation, his entire family, all foreign and rape his wife and children right in front of him. The aura of the poisonous bugs would naturally turn into ashes for stealing from the Thunder Tribulation. A group of Wandu clan disciples, it was impossible for him to use the poisonous bugs. They were extremely to find the whereabouts of Xia Ping. They were completely tricked by Xia Ping. You must find to escape from the many savage beasts. Our Wandu clan brothers have been harmed by him. If they had obtained the soul-gathering fruit and soul-washing grass, such a price would not have been unacceptable. We suffered heavy casualties that they did not get any benefits, and instead they worked hard for others. Clans suffer such a big loss. They could not accept such an outcome. That's right. And they wanted to bite that bitch Wu and tear him into pieces. Search. Otherwise, spread out and search every corner of this planet. Moreover, find out where that kid is hiding. Has an artifact on him nodded that can immediately gave the order and instantly destroy the spirit arrays we arranged. The group of people spread out. We'll be able to reap a great harvest, use their divine senses to make up for all our losses. As the planet was not big, can't let this guy escape. Smaller than Earth. Even if he runs to the ends of the world, an hour, we must catch up to him. With the mountain river pearl until he dies. Xia Ping's aura. Once I catch him, it was as if he was in a different dimension. Him about the whereabouts no matter how the group scanned with their divine senses, they could not find any clues. Damn it! There's no other life on this planet except for some animals. We can't find any traces of Wu Wudi. There's no spaceship either. Has he already left this planet? Impossible. He just arrived on this planet a day ago. There's a thick aura of poisonous insects all around. Even if he left, he wouldn't be so fast. He must still be hiding here. We can't go on like this. We can't find him at all. He must have a secret treasure on him that can block our divine senses. The expressions of the Wandu clan disciples were very ugly. They were helpless. If divine senses were useless, trying to find a person on a planet was no different from looking for a needle in a haystack. Since we can't find him, let's stop looking. At that moment, Lu Wen said, "Destroy this planet. Destroy it completely. All life on the planet will be wiped out. I don't believe that he can still hide." The moment he opened his mouth, He wanted to destroy the planet. He wanted to take drastic measures and was vicious. The Wandu clan disciples were also shocked by Lu Wen's viciousness. However, they thought about it and felt that it was indeed a good idea. If the planet was destroyed, that kid would have nowhere to run. Even if the other party could not think of anything, there was nothing they could do. This was a drastic measure. At that moment, a voice came from the void. As expected of a Wandu clan disciple, your methods are cruel and inhumane. You even want to destroy a planet with life. It seems like you can't be left alive. People like you who have committed heinous crimes do not deserve to live in this world. All of you can go to hell. Who is it? Who's playing tricks? Come out immediately. The Wandu clan is doing business here. Whoever dares to be impudent will be executed. Hearing this voice, the Wandu clan disciples present all had goosebumps. There were so many golden cores gathered in this place, and there was actually someone approaching without a sound. How shocking was that? If the other party had ill intentions and sneaked an attack, a golden core would probably die in an instant. They immediately activated their defensive Dharma treasures and were vigilant of their surroundings, guarding against any sneak attacks. Swoosh! A figure appeared not far away from them. He stood in midair with his hands behind his back. He looked at this group of people indifferently. He had no intention of sneaking an attack, and was open and aboveboard. Wu Wudi! When Qin Shi and the rest saw this figure appear, they immediately shouted. Their eyes were filled with hatred and anger. It seemed like they could not suppress the anger in their hearts. It was because of this guy that caused the Wandu clan disciples to suffer heavy losses. They did not get any treasures. Everyone, how have you been? Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the Wandu clan disciples. I spared your lives previously. I didn't expect you to not know how to be grateful and repent. You even brought so many people to find trouble with me. It seems like you don't want to die fast enough. A terrifying murderous aura emanated from his body, covering 100 miles. Chapter 1491. Insolent. A bastard dares to speak to us so loudly. What's our status and what's your status? A golden core shouted angrily. Since you're willing to come out, it's easy. Go to hell and turn into dust. Go to hell and regret it. Why are you so stupid as to become enemies with the 10,000 poison sect? The moment he said that, he attacked immediately. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 hands appeared in midair. Each hand seemed to be condensed from venom, and was black in color. They charged over and transformed into black spiders. Deep within the black spiders, there seemed to be poisonous runes that moved continuously, as though they were alive. They vaguely formed a small array formation that contained the terrifying might of heaven and earth. When the spiders flew over, the surroundings were filled with poisonous gas. Any living being would be corroded by such a poisonous gas, as though their bodies were invaded by venom. they would probably be poisoned to death in a short period of time, and even golden cores would not be able to withstand it. This was a poison mystical ability of the 10,000 poison sect, 1,000 spider hands. If one wanted to cultivate this mystical ability successfully, they had to capture the yellow sac spider, wandering spider, six-eyed desert spider, funnel web spider, black widow spider and hundreds of other venomous spiders, and extract their venom. Then, they would be supplemented with various precious herbs to cultivate the 10,000 poison sects cultivation technique, and fuse it into the depths of the cultivator's blood, refining the cultivator into a poisoned man. Only by devouring the venom of these spiders, and allowing the body to produce antibodies that would not fear the spider venom, would there be a chance to cultivate successfully. However, the process of cultivating this mystical ability was extremely painful as well. They would be corroded by the venom at all times, and it was excruciating. It was as though they were being sliced by thousands of knives and bitten by ants. It was a life worse than death. Furthermore, there were many people who died every year when cultivating this poison mystical ability, and those who succeeded could be counted on one's fingers. However, once it was cultivated successfully, its power would be boundless, and it could be said to be invincible among those of the same realm. When using this mystical ability, poisonous gas would run rampant, and the enemy would often be poisoned to death unknowingly. If the enemy's skin was cut even a little, the spider venom would invade, and they would definitely die. The poison of hundreds of spider venom stacked together was rather terrifying, and even he might not be able to cure it. Without a doubt, this golden core was a genius of the 10,000 poison sect, who cultivated the 1,000 spider hands. His mystical ability was earth-shattering as he attacked, wanting to poison Xiaoping to death instantly. Dark North Body Protection Technique. In an instant, Xiaoping ran the Dark North Body Protection Technique, and layers of protective shields appeared around his body, like crystals, and also like the lines of an ancient tortoise shell densely packed. Dong! The 1,000 spider palms bombarded the energy barrier fiercely. Thousands of spiders bit and tore at the barrier. The venom seemed to invade the barrier, but it was like hitting a steel wall. No matter how hard the 1,000 spider hands tried, they were unable to break through this barrier. Even the poison couldn't corrode it, and was forcibly blocked outside. How is this possible? My divine ability, 1,000 spider hands, could break through the ages and destroy an area. Even mica steel couldn't withstand my poison. It would be corroded in a few breaths. Moreover, this venom specialized in breaking through protective treasures and astral energy. It could destroy boundless variations in moves. Exactly what kind of divine ability was this? It can actually block my 1,000 spider hands to resist the poisonous gas and venom in my body. The perfected master of the Golden Core realm jumped in fright and quickly retreated. He was like an assassin, retreating immediately when his attack failed. He felt an unknown danger in the dark. However, how could he know the power of the Dark North Body Protection Technique? It defended against everything, and was impenetrable. It formed a spatial barrier that was enough to block and reflect all attacks. It was wishful thinking for a mere spider venom to corrode the defense of the Dark North Body Protection Technique. Perhaps there were venoms that could break the defense of the Dark North Body Protection Technique, but this spider venom was clearly not one of them. Whoosh! In that instant, Xiaoping attacked. His speed was several times faster than that of the perfected master of the Golden Core realm. Like lightning, like a meteor, he cut through the night sky and pierced the sky. Dong! He turned his palm into a blade, raised his hand, and slashed down horizontally. He ran the Chaos Thunder technique, and the infinite power of thunder in his body surged out, emitting the aura of destruction, judgment, domination, destruction, and so on. It was as if a thunder god had descended at this moment, tearing apart the chaos, annihilating the gods and demons, and judging all injustice. Ah, that perfected master of the Golden Core realm still did not know what had happened. His body was still flying in midair, his eyes widened, and he let out a shrill scream that was worse than a pig being slaughtered. Immediately, a blood-colored mark appeared between his brows. His body was dumbfounded, and then his body was cut in half, falling from midair, dripping with blood. The unwillingness, fear, and soul aura on his body quickly disappeared from this world as his body was cut in half. The venom in his body also exploded. Whoosh! The blood turned into venom and fell from the sky like poisonous rain, covering the area within a radius of several miles. A large number of trees and weeds withered rapidly, and even the rocks were corroded completely, turning into powder. After a few breaths, the place where the perfected master of the Golden Core realm died turned into a poisonous swamp, with black bubbles everywhere. Ordinary people would feel dizzy when they smelled the poisonous gas, and his golden core naturally fell into the hands of Xia Ping. However, this was just the beginning. After killing this perfected master of the Golden Core realm, he moved again. His body was as fast as lightning, ghostly and unstoppable. Martial arts supernatural power, lightning fist. With a flash, Xia Ping's movement trajectory was like a winding lightning bolt. In an instant, he approached the nearest disciple of the Myriad Poison clan, in the intermediate stage of the Golden Core realm, and punched out. This punch was extremely terrifying, as if it was a thunder retribution punch. The thunder talisman in his body surged with a huge amount of thunder energy, and the thunder talisman gathered in his fist and gathered together. Dong! That perfected master of the Golden Core realm did not know what had happened. His eyes were filled with fear and other emotions. His chest was immediately pierced by a bolt of lightning, and his heart exploded. Even the Golden Core realm in his body was blasted away from his body by this punch. At the same time, the terrifying thunder energy exploded in his body, blasting him into pieces and turning him into a pile of minced meat. Another perfected master of the Golden Core realm was beaten to death, pierced by a punch. Ah, Senior Brother Huang and Senior Brother Pan were killed by this murderer with a punch. How could this be? Is this still a true Fire Realm cultivator? How could he be more powerful than a perfected master of the Golden Core realm? This is not a human, it's a devil, a monster. He might be possessed by a demon. Hurry, hurry, hurry and retreat. Don't try to fight against this monster. When they saw two golden cores being killed in an instant without any resistance, the Myriad Poison clan disciples were horrified. Sensing the difference between them and Xia Ping, they retreated rapidly, wanting to maintain a distance from him. Chapter 1492. Seeing the death of two Golden Core masters. Lu Wen clearly could not suppress the anger in his heart, and stared at Xia Ping. You actually dare to kill my Wandu clan's disciples? Do you know that every time a Wandu clan disciple dies, a spiritual imprint will be left on the enemy's body? The stronger the strength, the more terrifying the spiritual imprint left. If you kill enough Wandu clan disciples, you will be left with the eternal curse of Wandu clan. At that time, your soul will be like the sun in the universe, constantly emitting light. If any Wandu clan disciple meets you, they will know that you are our life and death enemy. They will not fear death to kill you, and use all kinds of methods to find trouble with you like a mad dog. If the matter is serious, even a saint will choose to kill you. Even if you have the support of a saint, it is useless. Are you sure you want to be an enemy of my Wandu clan? What nonsense! At this time, we are all life and death enemies. Why are you still talking about being an enemy? If you have the guts, come and kill me. You don't have enough strength, and you want to talk about rules with me. It is simply a fool's dream. Xia Ping's figure flickered and instantly appeared behind Lu Wen, punching out again. Heavenly Soul Devouring Fist. Lu Wen punched back. Terrifying demonic chi surged out from his body. In the depths of the void, densely packed demonic characters appeared, condensing into demon skeletons, emitting a deep, terrifying, evil, all-devouring aura and so on. This was not the Wandu clan's divine ability, but a supreme demonic path divine ability he obtained from some ruins. It had the power to devour the heavens and the earth. With one punch, even the soul would be devoured, sinking into eternal oblivion. Dong! The two fists collided, producing a terrifying destructive power, like the ringing of a bell, producing circle after circle of condensed ripples, spreading out in all directions, shaking the surrounding mountains to crack and collapse. Xiaoping also took a step back, feeling his qi and blood roiling. Great eldest senior brother, you finally beat this kid a step back. A group of Wandu clan disciples were extremely excited. Looks like eldest senior brother's divine ability, Heaven's Net Soul Devouring Fist, has already been trained to the pinnacle. He killed two golden core perfected ones with just a few punches and kicks together. In their eyes, kill this little bastard was not a true Fire Realm cultivator at all. Green Ox and Corinne were speechless when they heard these words. He was on the same level as them, golden core or even the kind of peerless demon only took a step back from a cultivator among those of the in the same middle level. Stage of true Fire disciples were a little despair. They were actually excited even to Golden this extent. It was too golden shameful. Core perfected was there any dignity golden as a golden sect of Dao core cultivators? But how could the two of them know the fear of this group of thousand poison clan disciples? Lu Wen had personally attacked battle achievements and forced this kid to take a step back. He was completely capable of fighting and resisting. If they, the Wandu clan disciples, joined forces, they would definitely be able to beat Wu Wuti to death. Lu Wen was also very proud. You have a good eye. This martial divine ability is the unique skill of the ancient demonic sect Tian Luo sect. It has the power of ghosts and gods. No matter what defensive technique it is like tofu in front of this fist technique. It can be broken with one punch. And every time it kills an enemy, it will devour a part of the enemy's soul as nourishment, constantly strengthening the power of this fist technique. The more people it kills, the stronger it is, and the more terrifying the power of this fist technique. Wu Wuti, you should obediently become a sacrifice for my fist technique. How dare you provoke Wandu clan? You don't even know how to write the word death. You will regret it when you go to hell. His clothes fluttered without any wind, surging with a terrifying demonic aura. There seemed to be thousands of ghosts behind him, as if they were all enemies he had killed, letting out miserable cries. Die Wu Wuti! You dare to be like a mantis trying to stop a chariot in front of me. This will be the cause of your death today. Heaven's Net Soul Devouring Fist sink fall die. Lu Wen attacked instantly. He threw out 3 punches in a row, completely displaying the supreme mystery of the Heaven's Net Soul Devouring Fist. Sink, fall, die. After the 3 punches, it was as if there was an azura from hell, pulling the enemy's soul into the depths of hell, constantly devouring it, unable to resist and completely sinking. The surrounding Wandu clan disciples were also shocked. Although this martial divine ability was not targeted at them, the range of this fist technique was so large that it even created illusions. They also felt their souls being pulled by the emissary of hell, falling into endless illusions, completely sinking, falling, and unknowingly dying. Mantis trying to stop a chariot. What a frog at the bottom of a well. How dare a mere Heaven's Net Soul Devouring Fist flaunt in front of me? You have no idea what's good for you. Xiaoping snorted coldly and stretched out his claw. Hell's Golden Crow Claw. The power of this claw was several times more terrifying than before. This was the power of the awakened 1 million golden crow of hell cells. Dense flame characters appeared on the giant claw, like ancient scriptures. It contained extreme flame energy, destructive energy, and seemed to be able to tear the void. Clang! In an instant, this claw tore the Heaven's Net Soul Devouring Fist apart. A hell azura was blown up on the spot, torn apart, clawed to death, and its body was torn into pieces. The demonic aura that filled the void, under the burning of the golden crow of hell flames, quickly turned into ashes sizzling. This claw could not even be blocked, directly hitting Lu Wen's body. Ah! Lu Wen let out a shrill scream. His entire body was blasted away, blood dripping from his chest. A terrifying power exploded in his body, shaking thousands of times, and his lungs were severely injured. But he was a cultivator at the peak of the Golden Core realm, after all. His divine ability was amazing, and he had a mid-grade spirit artifact defensive magic treasure on him, so he could barely withstand this attack and not die on the spot. But after this attack, he also clearly knew that Wu Wuti was a monster, and he was no match for Wu Wuti at all. His own strength could not shake this monster at all. Senior brother Lu, Qin Shi and the others were worried and panicked, afraid that Lu Wen would be crushed to death by Xiaoping's claw. Seeing that Lu Wen was still breathing, they were relieved. After all, Lu Wen was the son of a 1,000 Poison Clan elder. If they were in this place, they were afraid that they would also be in trouble, and the elder would vent his anger on them. This guy is a monster, a devil, not a human at all. Everyone attacked together, set up 1,000 poison jellyfish array, and completely poison him to death here. I want him to die without a whole corpse. Chapter 1493. Hearing this, Qin Shi and the rest's eyes lit up. This array was a famous array of the Wandu clan. Once it was successfully set up, it could immediately form 1,000 poison jellyfish. Under the poison of the 1,000 poison jellyfish, even a cultivator at the returning nature realm, who was stronger than the golden elixir realm, would not be able to escape death. Their bodies could not withstand the poison, and they would collapse and die. However, the array disk of this array was extremely precious. Only the higher-ups could have it. They did not expect Lu Wen to have such a trump card. Wu Wuti was dead for sure. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, without a word, they immediately stood at the nodes of the array and formed seals with both hands. They imbued all their spiritual power to activate the array and display its power. 1,000 poison jellyfish array, world poison domination. Lu Wen roared. His face was ferocious as he formed seals with both hands to activate the array. Immediately, countless poisons from the depths of the void were absorbed by the array. Even every drop of poison from the Wandu clan disciples gathered in the center of the array. Snake venom, scorpion venom, ant venom, spider venom, centipede venom, and other poisons gathered together. It was as if thousands of poisons had gathered together and were purified by the array. After a while, the black poisons became transparent. A huge jellyfish appeared in midair. It was the color of crystal and was extremely beautiful. Under the illumination of the sun, it emitted a myriad of colors. It was extremely beautiful. The tentacles of this jellyfish swayed gently and floated casually. It was like a god, a totem,
in such an
worthy of
explosion.
worship. The poison Wandu clan
Dharma
disciples
treasures
looked at the
and
jellyfish
powers.
with
It would
infatuation
instantly
and
drown
excitement.
Wu Wuti.
They knew
And
how
he would
terrifying
probably
this
be
jellyfish
corroded
was.
into a pile of
It was
bones
known
in a
as the
few
king
breaths.
of poisons.
Hellfire
The more
crucible.
beautiful it was,
A
the more
cold light
poisonous
flashed
it was.
in Xiaoping's
Even a
eyes
golden
as a
elixir
massive
realm
furnace appeared
cultivator
in the air above
would be
his head.
poisoned to death
It
within a
instantly
few
gave
breaths.
off a primal,
If they were
ancient
lightly
devouring
touched by its
refining
tentacles
and other auras.
If the jellyfish's
Numerous
poison
hellish
entered the body,
characters appeared on the
it would be
surface
like
of the
maggots
furnace.
in the bones.
There were
It would
characters of
corrode
flame,
one's spiritual
characters
power.
of chaos,
Even if one
and
used
characters
spiritual
of the
power
infernal
to
realm.
expel it, it was
It
as
would
if an
not
ancient
stop until the
scripture was
poison
being
consumed
chanted,
all of one's
containing
life force.
world-shaking power.
Even the Wandu
Dong,
clan
the
disciples
huge
kept a
furnace
respectful
produced a
distance
terrifying
from this
suction
jellyfish
force
that
and did
instantly
not dare
swallowed
to
the
get too
myriad
close.
poison's jellyfish.
But if this jellyfish was
Majestic
facing
infernal
an enemy,
golden crow
it would
flames
be its
began to
strongest
burn,
attack,
burning through
Die,
everything.
Wuti. Incredible.
Luwen revealed a sinister
Xiaoping's eyes
smile
glittered
and activated
the myriad
poison
jellyfish was
array.
incredibly
A
toxic.
huge myriad poison
it also
jellyfish
contained a
rushed
vast
towards
amount of
Xiaoping
power.
at lightning
As
speed.
soon as he assimilated
that Xiaoping
he
was
could
dead
feel
for
the
sure.
power coursing
This
through
was
him.
because the
He could
1,000
sense his
poisons
hellfire
jellyfish
golden
was
crow
so
cells
terrifying
awakening
that it was
10,000,
unimaginable to mortals.
20,000,
Even if the
50,000,
jellyfish was killed on the spot,
100,000,
it would still
in the
explode
end,
with venom.
he had awakened
that
a
would
total
spread
of
for
500
thousands of
thousands.
miles.
One could only imagine how much power the myriad poisons jellyfish was providing him. Nice. Xiaoping burped. He felt his body brimming with strength, as if he had eaten a complete tonic. Endless energy gushed out from the depths of his body, and his condition reached an unprecedented peak. Holy crap! This bastard is a monster. He actually ate a myriad poisons jellyfish. He's not human. This isn't a myriad poisons jellyfish, and it's not some delicacy. How could he just eat it? What divine ability is that? How could he refine the poison of a myriad poisons jellyfish? Isn't he afraid of being poisoned to death? The disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan were scared half to death. They didn't even dare to touch the poison of the myriad poisons jellyfish. But now, someone was so reckless that he could refine the poison of the myriad poisons jellyfish. Even in the Thousand Poisons clan, there were only a handful of people who could do such a thing, and they had to have a myriad poisons body. But such a person was the saint child of the Thousand Poisons clan, second only to one and above all. Not good. Luwen shouted. All disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan, listen up. This kid is a monster, a fiend, a helajura. He's not human. We can't fight him head on. Retreat immediately, and gather the elders of the Thousand Poisons clan to kill this fiend. He's a great enemy of the Thousand Poisons clan. Just as he shouted, Xiaoping made his move. You want to gather your allies? Do you think I'll give you that chance? As soon as he finished speaking, he appeared next to Lu Wen and punched the air. Dong. Lu Wen's protective Empyrean energy and magical treasures were instantly destroyed. Just like that, a fist pierced through his body. His eyes widened and his pupils revealed unwillingness, fear, regret, and many other emotions. But there was nothing he could do. He couldn't even make a sound as his body split into pieces instantly. Rumble, immediately, Lu Wen turned into a pile of flesh and blood. Among the minced flesh, only a golden elixir and his storage ring were left. It's over. Lu Wen is dead. Retreat. Retreat now. We're not his match at all. What kind of monster is this? He's just in the true fire realm, and he killed a golden elixir realm cultivator like killing a dog. What kind of monster did we offend? Seeing Lu Wen killed with one punch, all the disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan were scared out of their wits. Their faces were ashen, and their legs were trembling. Some of them wanted to escape, but just as they took a step, a punch landed on their heads. Their heads were smashed into pieces like broken glass. Bang, bang, bang. The war drums roared, and the spears and horses galloped. One by one, the disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan screamed. When the last scream stopped, Qin Shi and the others were all killed by Xiaoping. There were also some disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan who stayed on the flying ship. Seeing that the situation was not good, they wanted to drive the flying ship away. But Xiaoping took out the buried heaven bow, drew the bow and shot an arrow. In an instant the flying ship exploded, and the disciples of the Thousand Poisons clan in the flying ship were also killed by the explosion. Not even their bones were left. Chapter 1494. Xiaping carefully counted his harvest this time. He had killed 20 perfected golden cores. None of them had self-destructed, and he had obtained 20 golden cores. There were many benefits. In addition, he also looked at the space rings of the 10,000 Poison Clan disciples, and found that they had obtained a large number of elixirs, spiritual herbs, and magic treasures. However, the space rings of the 10,000 Poison Clan disciples were mostly filled with poisons. All kinds of poisons were basically fatal. If he took them out, it would be like Resident Evil. However, he had not looked at Lu Wen's space ring yet. He would look at it last. He was also looking forward to what treasures this senior brother of the 10,000 Poison Clan had. There's a restrictive formation. Xiaping narrowed his eyes. He found that Lu Wen's space ring actually had a restrictive formation. Even if he was dead, it seemed that it would not be easy to break this restrictive formation. If he could not break it, he probably would not be able to get the treasures in the space ring. However, it was too easy for Xiaping to break the restrictive formation. With a thought, he immediately activated the infernal golden crow flames in his body and seeped a wisp of flames into the space ring. Whoosh! Immediately, the restrictive formation of the space ring was destroyed. It was burned full of holes and completely collapsed. These restrictive formations could not withstand the destructive power of the infernal golden crow flames. Boom! At this moment, it seemed that the forceful destruction of the restrictive formation had caused unimaginable spiritual imprints of my Wandu the defense mechanism of the space ring. How many of my tyrannical shadow immediately appeared from the space ring? Bastard! It was an old man in a gray robe. He had triangular eyes, and you actually killed him, and a ruthless expression. One won't let you off, and one could tell that he was not someone let out an angry roar. He emitted like an enraged lion. As soon as he appeared, he immediately noticed Xiaping. Spiritual imprint. Who are you? Xiaping narrowed his eyes. Why did you open the restrictive formation of this space ring? These Wandu clan disciples had also said that if anyone killed them, instantly knew that this was a backup plan left by Lu Wen. This old man must be Lu Wen's father. Every time he killed a Transcendence Realm expert, a gray aura seemed to surge out from the bodies of these imprint in the space ring in case of any accident. He couldn't avoid it in time. Swoosh! And it entered his soul and entangled with it. He immediately used the infernal golden crow to the soul. He did not waste any time talking to the gray-robed old man, allowing the Wandu clan disciples to immediately find out the primordial spirit imprint, who killed the Wandu bastard. How dare you? However, now was not the time to care about this. He never thought that the brat in front of him would be so ruthless. Swoosh! Without saying anything, golden crow's flame shot out primordial and instantly hit the gray-robed elder. It's useless. A true fire realm ant thinks that you can do anything to my primordial spirit imprint. Everything you do is useless. Wait, damn it, bastard, what kind of flame is this? Why can it hurt my primordial spirit? The gray-robed elder was originally full of confidence, thinking that his primordial spirit imprint was superior to everything. Ordinary methods could not harm it, and it was completely immune. Who would have thought that when the flame hit the primordial spirit imprint, it would instantly burn? This seemed to be an extraordinary flame that targeted the soul, and it could burn anything. Immediately he let out a roar. He was extremely angry, but it was too late. When the hell golden crow's flame completely burned, there was no one who could extinguish it. Little bastard, I will remember you. You will be the enemy of my Wandu clan for all eternity. Any disciple of the Wandu clan who sees you will hunt you down and kill you. Just you wait. Not only you, even your friends and family will die because of you. I will destroy your family and break up your wife and children. The gray-robed elder cursed fiercely. His eyes were filled with hatred. However, no matter how angry he was, he could not avoid the fate of disappearing. After a few breaths, following the gray-robed elder's curse, the primordial spirit imprint also quickly turned into ashes. And this space ring was also completely opened and could be viewed at any time. This is a little troublesome. Xiaping touched his chin. Hearing the gray-robed elder's roar, he did not doubt the elder's anger at all. If the elder was angered, this was the Wandu clan's territory. He could instantly seal the star area, and there would be nowhere to escape. Even if he wanted to jump through space, if there were any spatial fluctuations, he would probably be discovered by the Wandu clan. If he was disturbed during the process of jumping through space, he would most likely fall into a different dimension and never be able to return. He might even be torn to pieces by the space storm. I don't know if this thing can be burned. Xiaoping moved his thoughts and operated the Hell Golden Crow's flame to burn the gray aura entangled in his soul. However, this substance was too special. There was not much movement, even after burning it for a long time. No, it's still useful. This gray aura has already decreased a little. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. The power of the Hell Golden Crow's flame on his body was still too weak. If it was a little stronger, perhaps it could burn this special spiritual imprint completely in an instant. However, even if it was a little weaker, it didn't matter. As long as he spent 7 or 8 days, he would be able to completely remove this gray aura. At that time, he would not have to fear that the group of Wandu clan disciples would find him. Let's go, let's leave this place first and find a safe place to hide. Xiaoping decided to temporarily leave this planet and go to another planet to hide. He would refine the Wandu clan's spiritual imprint in peace before secretly leaving the southern universe. At this time, at the headquarters of the Wandu clan, countless elders were gathered. The death of a dozen or 20 Taoist masters of Jindan stage was too bad. Even for a saint-level sect, this was an unbearable loss. It was unknown how many years it had been, but the Wandu clan had not lost so many elite disciples for a long time. Chapter 1495. At this moment, Zhou Henxian, the 10,000 Poison Clan's clan master, several grand elders, and many elders were gathered in the conference room. Of course, the sage would not attend such a thing, unless it was a matter of life and death for the 10,000 Poison Clan. If they were to trouble the sage for such a small matter, the 10,000 Poison Clan would not be able to survive. What does everyone think of today's incident? Zhou Henxian looked at the many elders. Clan master, what are you looking at? Immediately lead the army and kill that little bastard. I want to tear him into pieces and kill his entire family. The one who spoke was Lu Wen's father, Lu Tao. He was a Dharma plane expert. At this moment his anger exploded. His eyes were red like a bull. No one could imagine his anger at this moment. He even wanted to slaughter an entire planet. That's right, clan master. This is too evil. More than 20 golden cores died. This is a vicious crime that has never happened before in the 10,000 Poison Clan. We must kill that murderer Wu Wudi. Otherwise, everyone will kill our 10,000 Poison Clan disciples without being punished. That will be terrible. We must let those who dare to offend our 10,000 Poison Clan feel the true terror of the 10,000 Poison Clan. But that Wu Wudi seems to be a true Fire Realm cultivator. How could he kill so many golden cores? Is there even a need to ask? He must have been pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Coupled with the existence of a powerful Dharma treasure on him, he schemed against us. In the end, more than 20 golden cores and hundreds of elite disciples of our 10,000 Poison sect were slaughtered by him. In that case he might have a background. Background is nothing. No matter how big his background is, don't worry, it can't be bigger than our 10,000 poison clan. 10,000 poison. No matter where he comes from, he must die. He is like a firefly in the darkness. Many 10,000 poison clan elders were filled with murderous intent as they gritted their teeth. The elders laughed coldly. Although the dead were not their relatives, in order to deal with this murderer, they were elite disciples of the 10,000 poison clan. This was a slap to the 10,000 poison clan's face. They used the forces of the three great starfields they ruled. All of them suggested sending troops wanting to capture the murderer in a jar. Even though the clan starfields were vast and boundless, I suggest that we immediately activate the array search and seal the void of the surrounding three major galaxies beaten to a pulp, so that he can't space jump. All right, let's move out immediately and capture the murderer. Otherwise, we'll kill the chickens and scare the monkey. How will our 10,000 poison clan be able to face him? Gave the order. That's right. Yes, Sovereign. Wu is vicious and cunning. And the others immediately use a complete strategy and quickly went to convey the order to mobilize the forces of the Wan every planet monitor him at all times. In one of the three great starfields immediately report 10,000 poison clan. Let's gang up and kill him on an inconspicuous planet. Don't give him a chance to fight alone. Xiaoping hid in a primitive mountain range on this planet. Make sure he has nowhere to run. He was surrounded by restrictive arrays that concealed his aura. No one would be able to discover his whereabouts. It was extremely safe. Phew. Xiaoping sat cross-legged on the ground, inhaling and exhaling the surrounding heaven and earth yuan qi. The spirit veins within a radius of 1,000 miles were all absorbed into his body. Fortunately, he had set up restrictive arrays that could isolate the outside world. Otherwise, such spiritual energy fluctuations would definitely attract the attention of others. By then, the people of the 10,000 poison clan might even come to kill him. Whoosh! In the depths of his purple mansion, his dermic power increased bit by bit. Soon it reached the limit. Suddenly Xiaoping was enlightened. Dong! The barrier of the purple mansion broke, and he immediately broke through to a higher realm. It was like water flowing when the conditions were right. Xiaoping finally advanced to the late stage of the true fire realm. In fact, he should have advanced to the late stage of the true fire realm long ago. However, because he had consumed the soul-gathering fruit previously, it caused the purple mansion space to expand. Hence, it took longer to condense the dermic power. However, after the great battle and the absorption of the thunder punishment energy, he finally broke through to the late stage of the true fire realm, after spending a few days to consolidate his cultivation. As soon as he stepped into this realm, Xiaoping immediately felt that his purple mansion space was expanding continuously. His dermic power was also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye, turning into a sea. Especially the fire of soul on his body. It was like a sea of fire that was burning fiercely. It exceeded 300,000 kilometers. This was an extremely shocking fire of soul. It was as though a trace of it was enough to ignite the souls of countless ordinary people and completely burn them. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, in the depths of his purple mansion space, magic talismans appeared. They shone brightly like the stars in the sky. They emitted an unusual and mysterious energy that communicated with the power of heaven and earth. When the fire of soul burned, the magic talismans actually showed signs of melting. The sea of fire was like a solar furnace, refining all the magic talismans and merging them into one. Am I going to condense the golden elixir? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He knew that in order to step into the golden elixir realm, he had to use the fire of soul to burn and melt the magic talismans in his body. When all the magic talismans were melted and merged into one, they would be refined and purified until a golden elixir was formed. Only when one reached the golden elixir realm would one understand the true meaning of cultivation and have some status in the universe. With such strength, one could become the ruler of a planet. Therefore, there was a saying that once a golden elixir was swallowed, one's life would be in their own hands. This represented the strength of the golden elixir realm. In fact, when one stepped into the golden elixir realm, their lifespan would be more than double that of the true fire realm. No, the fire of soul is still not strong enough. I need to reach my peak. Xiaoping squinted his eyes and realized that he had too many martial arts magic talismans, and they were all very strong. To refine all these magic talismans, he was temporarily unable to do so. However, he did not care about this. After all, he had just stepped into the advanced stage of the true fire realm, and was still a distance away from the perfected true fire realm. He was in no hurry. Suddenly, when Xiaoping was carefully feeling the surge of his divine consciousness, after advancing to the advanced stage of the true fire realm, he felt an object in the space of the Pearl of Mountain River vibrating gently, as though it was resonating. Isn't this the devouring elephant totem? Xiaoping stretched out his hand and took out the devouring elephant totem. He had obtained it from the barbarian leader. Previously, because he wanted to snatch the soul-cleansing grass, he did not have the time to investigate the secret of this totem. Chapter 1496. Xiaoping placed the heaven-devouring elephant totem on the ground and observed it carefully. At this moment, his divine sense had greatly increased, more than twice as strong as before. He immediately discovered that this totem was extraordinary. Vaguely, he sensed that this totem was filled with a faintly discernible aura. It seemed to be able to affect heaven and earth, distort the air, and produce strange illusions. It was mysterious and unfathomable. Boom! After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping's divine sense explored every corner of this totem, comprehending every line on it. It seemed that this method had completed some kind of turning point, triggering the totem's qi activity. Immediately, the whole world seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. It was as if he had fallen into a certain realistic environment at this moment. At this moment, he felt that he had suddenly appeared in the starry sky. He stood in the vacuum, surrounded by a dense cluster of stars that shone brightly. A giant elephant appeared in front of him. No one could imagine how huge this giant elephant was. Even a star was just like a glass bead in front of it. Its 4 hooves also stood in the void, raising its long trunk. A majestic and grand energy was produced around its body, as if forming a black hole. What's going on? It's cultivating and breathing. Xiaoping stared at this unimaginable giant elephant. Its aura was like that of a god or demon. Just by standing in the same place, he felt as if time had stopped. That majestic phantom of a god or demon made people unable to resist it. His divine sense penetrated it, and sensed that this giant elephant was actually breathing. 3 long breaths and 2 short breaths, producing an incredible rhythm. It seemed to have resonated with the fluctuations of heaven and earth. As the elephant breathed, with its body as the center, the primal chaos energy within a radius of countless light years surged in, all of it surging into its body. The aura on its body seemed to be growing stronger bit by bit at a speed visible to the naked eye. The vital energy and blood energy on its body was extremely terrifying, exuberant like a scorching sun. A single drop of its blood was enough to destroy the vitality of a planet. Subconsciously, Xiaoping also imitated this giant elephant's breathing. Immediately, he seemed to have fallen into some kind of mysterious rhythm of heaven and earth. His body had been possessed by a giant elephant. Resonated with the power of heaven and earth. It was as if his body was filled with explosive power. The surrounding chi of the world gathered together of a giant elephant, forming a giant elephant after an unknown amount of time. That seemed to be able to finally woke up and broke away from the illusion. It contained boundless power. The heaven-devouring mammoth totem seemed to shatter and turn into lava. Countless mysterious giant elephant runes appeared in the depths of the void, one after another, like the stars in the sky, elephant legacy, fusing into his body. No way, this is the divine elephant breathing technique. Xiaoping's eyes widened in disbelief. This was a supreme secret technique that had definitely reached the saint level. If this breathing technique was cultivated to the highest level, one could even condense the power of a divine elephant. One had to know that in terms of power, even the golden raven of hell could not compare to a real divine elephant. After all, the talent of a divine elephant was its unparalleled pure power. The divine elephant was a totem of extreme power, and no one could rival it. Whoosh! Xiaoping used the divine elephant breathing technique. He felt that this breathing technique seemed to have mobilized the qi in his body, activating all of his potential. His blood flowed like a giant dragon, tempering his body. Vaguely, a divine elephant totem appeared on his back. It was clearly visible, and every pattern on the totem was like a pattern of the Tao, mysterious and unfathomable. As he breathed deeply, he seemed to have turned into a divine elephant, burning his blood. His body and strength were all strengthening at a speed that could be seen with the naked eye. One had to know that he had already condensed the Golden Raven of Hell, Thunder Emperor body, Green Emperor body, Star body, and other physiques, which made his body like a monster. But after cultivating this breathing technique, his physique, his strength, and the strength of his body had actually increased to another level, which was simply too shocking. This cultivation session lasted for a day and a night. Boom! Xiaoping opened his eyes, which shone with a bright light. He suddenly stood up from the ground, causing heaven and earth to shake. It was as if a divine elephant was turning over. The 1,000-meter-tall mountain he was on was immediately shaken into pieces by the force of the explosion. Even the area within a 1,000-mile radius was roaring, and shocking cracks appeared on the ground like a dense spider web. My strength is a bit too strong. Xiaoping was also shocked by his sudden increase in strength. Just now, it was purely a force that leaked out of his body, and it had shaken the mountain to pieces. Even if he did not use his dermic powers, and only used his strength, pure strength, he would be able to kill a golden core perfected being with one punch. He did not need any Dharma treasures or weapons at all. His body right now was an extremely powerful Dharma treasure. Hungry, so hungry. All of a sudden, Xiaoping felt extremely hungry, as if his blood qi was depleted. He did not know how many days he had been starving, and if this were to continue, he would starve to death. He knew that cultivating the divine elephant breathing technique did not come without a price. He had to burn his blood qi potential and temper his body. However, if he could not make up for the depleted blood qi, it would damage his martial arts foundation, and he would no longer be able to improve. This was an extremely demonic breathing technique. It was extremely powerful, but the side effects were great as well. Green Ox, prepare pills and food for me immediately. Xiaoping instructed the Green Ox immediately. Yes, master. I've refined quite a number of pills previously, and I can provide them to master. The Green Ox could tell that Xiaoping's blood qi was severely depleted, and replied immediately. Right, those barbaric dragon rabbits have grown quite a bit recently as well. Their numbers have reached 12 billion. We can harvest them now, and refine them instantly to create dragon blood pills. The Green Ox continued. 12 billion. Xiaoping was shocked as well. It had only been a year, but there were already so many barbaric dragon rabbits. The growth rate of these barbaric dragon rabbits was indeed shocking. As long as they were given enough space and food, they could reproduce endlessly. But thankfully, the existence of these barbaric dragon rabbits could provide him with enough food. Chapter 1497. Dragon Blood Pill? There's such a thing. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. Sure enough, capturing these barbaric dragon rabbits to breed in the mountain and river pearl was the right decision. Although each barbaric dragon rabbit only had one strand of dragon blood, if there were 1,000,000 of them, that would be 1,000,000 strands of dragon blood. 100 million barbaric dragon rabbits would be 100 million strands of dragon blood. This was a rather shocking number. It could be said that if there were enough barbaric dragon rabbits, it would be very easy to directly condense them into a river of dragon blood. Of course, the greatest significance for Xiaoping was to continuously obtain dragon blood. This was equivalent to raising a few true dragons here, and letting them bleed at any time. In the future, he wouldn't have to worry about running out of dragon blood. Very well, immediately refine 1,000 dragon blood pills. I want to eat them. Xiaoping said to the Green Ox. That's easy. The Green Ox expressed that this was child's play. It was a deity in the mountain and river pearl, and it could instantly refine hundreds of millions of barbaric dragon rabbits, and condense them into dragon blood pills. It was too familiar with this kind of thing. Moreover, it usually refined a lot, so it had a few hundred dragon blood pills in stock. Oh, master, other than the barbaric dragon rabbits, the crystal rice has also matured quite a bit. After my careful cultivation, and increasing the number of seeds. They had indeed
the planting
sensed
area
that
has
Xiaoping's
reached
body
3
was
million
severely
square
drained of
kilometers.
vital energy
This
and
time,
blood. We have
which was
harvested a
unusual.
billion tons of
Now is
crystal
not the
rice.
time to ask for
And
the
with
reason.
the expansion of
So
the
they
planting
immediately
area,
got to work.
we will be able
One
to
went to
harvest
refine
even
the
more
dragon
crystal
blood pill,
rice, while the
The
other went to
Greenox
boil the
revealed the
crystal
results of the
fragrant
past
rice.
few days.
At this moment,
The crystal
they
rice
didn't
had been
seem to be
successfully
artifact
cultivated,
spirits, but
a billion
5-star
tons of
chefs.
crystal rice.
They were so busy that they
Xiaoping
were
was
dizzy
very
and
excited.
disoriented. He knew how
Half a day
valuable the
later,
crystal
the
fragrant
dragon
rice
blood
was.
pill,
Back then,
crystal fragrant
when
rice
the Red
cooked
Scarf
with rice,
bandits obtained the
and the
crystal
pills
fragrant
obtained
rice
from
and
all
9
kinds of
heaven living
people
soil
were all placed on
they
the
spent a
table
lot
of
of
the pearl
effort,
of mountains
but
and
were
rivers,
unable to produce
as
that much
expected
every
of the
year.
dragon blood pill.
After all, the taste
In order
is
to let
indeed not
crystal
bad.
rice survive,
Xiaoping
one had
tossed
to pay
these
attention
dragon
to
blood
the
pills
quality
into
of
his
the
mouth
soil,
like jelly
temperature,
beans, sunlight,
with a smacking
moisture,
sound.
pests,
He
and
crushed
so on.
dozens of
If
dragon
they were
blood
not
pills
careful and
swallowed
encountered
them.
pests,
After that,
a year's worth
he could
of crystal
feel these
rice
dragon
would be
blood
gone.
pills being
However,
instantly
this
refined
was
by
only
the
a
sun
small
furnace,
matter for the green
transforming
ox and
into
the mountain and
majestic
river
energy,
pearl,
as
it
well
had
as
grown
pure
even more
dragon
precious
blood.
spirit herbs.
This energy also
compared
surged
to the Red
into his
Scarf
limbs and
bandits.
bones.
The green ox was
replenishing
a
the
true great
deficiency
druid,
of his blood
nature's
and chi.
favorite.
This also
Quick,
caused
cook a
the
ton of
hunger in
crystal
his
rice
body to lessen
immediately.
a little.
Xiaoping
Yes, it was
felt
just a
extremely
little.
hungry.
He wasn't
and he
satisfied
could eat
at
as
all.
much as he wanted.
Slurp, slurp,
a ton.
Xiaoping held
When
a rice
Greenox
spoon in
and
his
Corinne
hand
heard this,
and
the corners
continuously
of their
scooped
mouths
up the rice
twitched.
cooked with
Ordinary
the crystal
people
fragrant
would be
rice,
full after eating
devouring
one or
it
two
like a
crystal
whale.
fragrant rice
In a few breaths,
but now
he had
Xiaoping
finished the amount of
wants
rice
to eat
that
a
was
ton.
equivalent to a
Isn't
rice
he
cooker.
afraid of bursting
This
to
was
death?
simply like a tornado sweeping away the clouds. A large amount of rice entered his stomach. At this moment, his stomach was like a black hole. No matter how much he ate, it would be rapidly digested and converted into energy that surged into every cell in his body. These dragon blood pills, crystal fragrant rice, and various other pills were all refined by him into powerful energy that surged into the depths of his body. Xiaoping's body was glowing, and the more he ate, the more brilliant the glow on his body became. At the final moment, it was as if he had transformed into the sun. The surrounding area of several kilometers was illuminated by the sunlight, and even his eyes couldn't open. In fact, there was even a scorching aura, and even the ground was charred. My God, how can he eat so much? Is he still human? He's simply a gluttonous beast. No, even a gluttonous beast can't eat as much as him. The green ox was dumbfounded. It could be considered as having seen countless creatures, and had a lot of knowledge, but it had never seen a creature that could eat so much. It must be known that these foods were not ordinary foods. Dragon blood pills, crystal fragrant rice, and various types of cultivation pills, such as 5 elements pills, universe pills, yin and yang pills, and so on, were all high-energy foods. An ordinary person would be stuffed to death after eating a bowl of crystal fragrant rice, but this guy was different. He could eat a ton. Just now, Xiaoping obtained the inheritance of a mysterious totem. It seems to be called something like divine elephant breathing technique. What kind of secret technique is this? How can it be so frightening? It's simply unheard of. Corinne had always been by Xiaoping's side, so he naturally knew the reason for Xiaoping's mutation. He admitted that this breathing technique was frightening. Originally, Xiaoping's physique had already reached the peak of his current realm, but after practicing this breathing technique, it could still be improved. This was too frightening. Corinne didn't know what level of technique it was. Could it be that it had surpassed the sage level? He sighed with emotion. This guy Xiaoping's luck was really too astonishing. He had casually killed some barbarians, and he had obtained this mysterious totem. He had obtained this world-shaking fortuitous encounter. Of course, if he didn't have the strength, he wouldn't have obtained anything from this fortuitous encounter. That barbarian leader had also obtained it before, but he hadn't obtained anything. It could only be said that he didn't have enough strength and talent, so he couldn't obtain the recognition of this mysterious object. Master is really a person with great luck. He can even obtain this kind of secret cultivation technique. I'm afraid that it won't be a big problem for him to surpass the old master in the future. The green ox also sighed with emotion. The more he stayed together with Xiaoping, the more he could feel how frightening Xiaoping's aptitude was. The speed of his progress was simply unimaginable. A day passed in the blink of an eye. The food on the table had been eaten cleanly, and not a single drop was left. Xiaoping had finally eaten his fill, and the feeling of hunger in his body had completely disappeared. At this moment, the 108,000 pores on his body were gushing out rich essence energy. It seemed as if every essence energy was like a sharp sword energy blade that could easily tear the earth apart. Every blood vessel in his body seemed to have a giant dragon swimming in it. It was filled with terrifying power, surging and surging. Every cell in his body was alive, and his skin was revealing a sparkling and translucent luster, just like a crystal. All the impurities and dirt had been thoroughly refined and expelled. Xiaoping felt that his condition was unprecedentedly good, and had almost reached the peak. After eating and drinking my fill, it's time to stir up some trouble. I wonder how is the current situation of the Wandu clan. Chapter 1498. Another day had passed. Xiaoping used the infinite puppets to control his doppelgangers, and went to various parts of the planet to gather information. He finally understood the current situation of himself and the 10,000 Poison Clan. As he expected, the death of Lu Wen and the others had enraged the 10,000 Poison Clan. They had already issued a kill order to Wu Wudi, so that every disciple of the 10,000 Poison Clan was dispatched to kill Wu Wudi. The 10,000 Poison Clan had even activated a large array to seal the void in the nearby 3 star fields. Any spaceship that wanted to leave this star field through a space jump had to be carefully inspected by the 10,000 Poison Clan before they could leave. For a time, the 3 star fields ruled by the 10,000 Poison Clan were already in a state of panic. If he dared to go out to any planet, he would immediately be attacked by the disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan. Even many elders would cross the void and directly capture him. It could be said that such a move was simply unprecedented. It shocked the major saint-level sects of the southern universe. Many sects wanted to know what had happened to make the 10,000 Poison Clan so angry that they mobilized so many people. You want to surround me? It's not that simple. Xiaoping was very calm. He was not worried about the pursuit of the 10,000 Poison Clan. In one day, the spiritual imprint left by the disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan on his soul would be completely refined by him. The reason why the 10,000 Poison Clan put on such a show was that they thought that Xiaoping had been hit by the spiritual imprint of the 10,000 Poison Clan and had nowhere to hide. As long as they got close, they would be able to find Xiaoping's specific location. In fact, such a spiritual imprint was extremely terrifying. It was like maggots attached to the bone. Only a saint could remove it. This was also the trump card of the 10,000 Poison Clan. Because of this, most enemies dared not make an enemy of the 10,000 Poison Clan. But even if they were beaten to death, they would not know that there was a heavenly flame like the infernal golden crow flame in the world that could burn this spiritual imprint completely. As long as there was no spiritual imprint left by the 10,000 Poison Clan, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack for these disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan to find him in the 3 major star fields. Of course, if Xiaoping wanted to leave now, it would naturally log into the virtual network. However, and logged into the Southern Universe Forum of the Southern Universe was not in his character, and countless warriors would appear in this forum to make them hate me. This forum was also divided into many sections, and decided to play a big game with the 10,000 Some were martial arts sections. He wanted a lot of hatred. Some were second-hand trading sections. He had to think of a way to get it. Of course, the most lively section was the gossip forum. There were many gossips circulating in this place. Countless martial artists would pay attention to the information sent out by this forum. And at this time, there was a highlighted post on the gossip forum. It was posted by the people from the 10,000 Poison Clan. Moreover, they even spent money to buy a highlighted post, so that everyone could see it. 1010 1000 of 9000 Poison Sect. On it was written, Bounty for the criminal Wu Wudi. This criminal is extremely vicious, lazy and inhumane. He killed without batting an eyelid, and is inhumane. He plotted against many kind Golden Core disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan, and committed a heinous crime. The moment this reward was posted, it immediately caused an uproar among countless warriors on the forum. This was because such a reward was too shocking. No matter what kind of reward it would make people salivate. If they could get it, they would become rich overnight. Therefore, the number of replies exceeded tens of millions, and the number of clicks exceeded tens of billions. Everyone was envious and jealous. They could not wait to immediately catch Wu Wuti and hand over his head in exchange for the 10,000 Poison Clan's reward. This time, the 10,000 Poison Clan not only used the power of their own sect, but also mobilized the people of the Southern Universe. Countless people became spies for the 10,000 Poison Clan, so that Xiaping had nowhere to escape. This time, the 10,000 Poison Clan not only used the power of their own sect, but also mobilized the people of the Southern Universe. Countless people became spies for the 10,000 Poison Clan, so that Xiaping had nowhere to escape. Once he appeared on a planet with life, he would immediately be discovered by the 10,000 Poison Clan. Xiaping looked at the post and found that many 10,000 Poison Clan disciples were replying to it. Their tone was extremely arrogant. Idiots, don't even think about this reward. It's purely a reward for our 10,000 Poison Clan disciples. A 10,000 Poison Clan disciple was clamoring. That's right. He's just a small true Fire Realm cultivator. We can crush him to death if we catch him. It's not your turn to make a move. If junior brother Lu Wan and the others hadn't been too careless and been ambushed by Wu Wuti, they wouldn't have died so miserably. Just you wait. In less than 3 days we'll catch Wu Wuti. At that time, the 10,000 Poison Clan even his will family definitely will be destroyed destroyed because of him. He'll taste Rivers the of horror blood of will death. flow. This reward is a warning. We'll kill the chicken to scare the monkey. We'll let you know the consequences of offending the 10,000 Poison Clan. I hope that everyone will take this as a warning. Don't be like that idiot Wu Wuti, who dares to offend any power. I guess he's regretting it for the rest of his life. Why was he so stupid to dare to kill a 10,000 Poison Clan disciple? But it's useless. It's too late for regret. Only his death can wash away the shame of the 10,000 Poison Clan. Many 10,000 Poison Clan disciples were replying. They were extremely contemptuous of Xiaping. They didn't see him as an opponent at all. It was just a game, an outdated game that would end soon. Hee, I think we shouldn't catch him so early. Let him live in the fear of death. Seeing this reward, his family, his friends, and even the shop assistants passing by are his enemies. He can be betrayed at any time and assassinated at any time. He doesn't dare to trust anyone. The whole world is his enemy. He can't sleep every night. He can only sleep on the streets. He doesn't dare to appear in the human world. He doesn't even dare to drink wine. He doesn't even dare to eat for too long. I feel a little sorry for Wu Wuti. I guess when he killed a 10,000 Poison Clan disciple, he didn't even know that there would be such consequences. Living is worse than death. Who asked him to do things without thinking and not consider the consequences? This is the consequence of being stupid. Many 10,000 Poison Clan disciples sneered. They directly admitted that this reward was purely to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. They took the opportunity to warn the other hostile forces of the 10,000 Poison Clan not to act rashly. Otherwise, what awaited them would be the revenge of the 10,000 Poison Clan like a mad dog. To be honest, when this reward was announced, many of the hostile forces of the 10,000 Poison Clan calmed down. They thought about whether it was necessary to go against the 10,000 Poison Clan. If they provoked the 10,000 Poison Clan to come out in full force for revenge, no one could bear it. Chapter 1499. How arrogant. Looking at this post and the contents of the replies, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He finally knew how domineering and arrogant the 10,000 Poison Clan was. They did not treat him as a threat at all. That was the truth. No matter how glorious Xiaoping's battle record was, he was just a junior in the true fire realm. Compared to a giant like a sacred level sect, he was just a small shrimp. However, even a small shrimp could bite off a few pieces of meat from this huge monster if it wanted to. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately made a post on the forum. In order to prevent this post from sinking into the sea, he also spent a sum of money to buy a highlighted post, so that everyone could see it. There was not much content in the post. The first was a photo that Xiaoping had just taken of the golden cores of Lu Wen and the others. He immediately uploaded it and wrote some words. On a certain day, I hunted the perfected golden core of the 10,000 Poison Clan on a wild planet. I killed several elite disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan and obtained a golden core by chance. I thank everyone from the 10,000 Poison Clan for the treasure. As soon as this post appeared, it was highlighted at the top and was immediately known by countless people. Oh my god, this is a Jindan left behind by a Jindan master. I've only heard of it before, but I've never seen it before. Someone saw the picture and immediately exclaimed. Of course not. Golden cores are so rare. Every golden core perfected being is extremely terrifying. Once their lives are threatened, they will immediately self-destruct. Who can obtain a golden core, unless they can kill the golden core perfected being instantly, and not allow them to self-destruct in time? What's going on with the Jindan in the picture? Was it rare for someone to kill so many golden cores in an instant? And which sect's golden core does this belong to? Idiot, didn't you see the words below the picture? Those were the golden cores of the Wandu clan's Jindan masters. For example, Lu Wen Qinshi, and the others. They were once famous Jindan masters of the Wandu clan. Now they are all dead,
The group of people was
and their
bewildered
golden
and
cores have been
secretly
taken
guessed
away.
at Wu Wudi's
Oh
true
my
strength,
god, it's signed by Wu
especially
Wudi.
the disciples
That
of the
fugitive has
10,000
appeared,
Poison Clan,
and even made a
because this
provocative
post
post.
was a provocation to
As
the
soon as this
10,000
post was
Poison
posted,
Clan.
it
They
immediately
received
caused
the
a huge
news.
uproar.
Oh my
It was
god,
like an earthquake.
These are the golden
Countless
elixirs
people
of
on the
senior
forum
brother Lu Wen
who had
and
been
senior
paying
brother
attention
Qinshi.
to this matter
How
quickly
did they
learned
fall
about
into
it.
the hands of
They
others?
knew how hard it was to obtain a
Wudi,
golden
it's
core.
that wretch Wu Wudi.
Every one of them
That
was
wretch
priceless.
killed senior brother
If they
Lu
were
Wen
sold,
and the others,
there would be
but
countless
she still
people
won't let
fighting
it
for
go.
them.
She
However,
even made a
Wu
post
Wudi
to
was
show
able
off
to
and
instantly
provoke
kill a
us.
golden core.
She's provoking
His
us.
strength was shocking.
He actually dared to
Just what
display
sort
the
of
golden
method did
core
he use
of our
to kill a
10,000
golden core
Poison
so
sect's
quickly
perfected
that
golden
the latter
core
could not even
that's practically
self-destruct his
whipping a
golden
corpse
core in front of
time.
everyone? Wu Wudi, our 10,000 Poison sect will fight you to the death. Many disciples of the 10,000 Poison Clan were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. He killed their disciples, and even made a post to show off his golden core. Wasn't this a public slap to the face of the 10,000 Poison Clan? Elder Lu Tao also received the news, and immediately went to the forum to take a look. When he saw his son Lu Wen's golden core, he was so angry that he vomited 3 liters of blood. His eyes were wide open. That's my son Lu Wen's golden core. Lu Tao's expression was ferocious as he immediately posted. Little bastard. How dare you humiliate our 10,000 Poison Clan in public? Immediately take down this picture, or I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life. He was so angry that he wanted to kill Xiaoping immediately and dismember him. Regret it for the rest of my life? I'll wait for you to make me regret it for the rest of my life. Xiaoping immediately replied. It's not that I'm looking down on your 10,000 Poison Clan, but that's all you're capable of. Other than sneak attacks and killing people with poison, what else do you have? In a head-on battle, I can kill a group of your 10,000 Poison Clan disciples by myself. I'll kill you until you cry for your parents. Poison is useless, and your 10,000 Poison Clan disciples are all trash. You can't even withstand a single blow. He laughed at the 10,000 Poison Clan. You, Wu Wudi, you're courting death. Despicable Wu Wudi, appear in front of us if you have the guts. Let's fight one-on-one. You still dare to boast shamelessly and say that our 10,000 Poison Clan disciples are useless. I can poison your entire family to death in an instant. Do you want to try? You dare to be a keyboard warrior online, but you don't dare to come out and fight one-on-one? Don't hide if you have the guts. A group of 10,000 Poison Clan disciples were furious. They immediately posted to scold Wu Wuti and wanted to fight Xia Ping one-on-one. Some people tried to goad Xia Ping into coming out and not hiding. So what if I'm hiding? Come and bite me if you have the guts. Xia Ping said calmly. To be honest, I can come and go as I please in your 10,000 Poison Clan's territory. It's like my backyard. But in view of your attitude, I'll teach you a deep and unforgettable lesson. You can't afford to offend just anyone. Remember to keep a low profile in the future. Otherwise, you won't even know when your clan will be destroyed. As soon as he said that, countless people were in an uproar. This was the first time they had seen such an arrogant fugitive. Faced with the pursuit of the 10,000 Poison Clan, not only did he not run away, but he even dared to provoke them online. Was this guy not afraid of the 10,000 Poison Clan's anger and mobilizing all their forces to kill his entire family? At this time, many of the 10,000 Poison Clan's disciples and elders were infuriated by Xia Ping's words. Capture this arrogant criminal Wu Wuti immediately. Mobilize all our forces. I want to find traces of Wu Wuti within 3 days. As a fugitive, he still dares to post on the internet, provoke us, and publicly whip a corpse. He insults the 10,000 Poison Clan's face. If we don't kill him, how will the 10,000 Poison Clan maintain its face? You're all good for nothings. It's been a few days, but we still can't find any traces of that bitch. Immediately mobilize all our forces to find Wu Wuti. Everyone, stop your tasks and conduct a carpet search. Once we find that guy, we'll tear him to pieces. One by one, the 10,000 Poison Clan's elders let out angry roars and issued orders, which were transmitted to the 3 major star fields and countless planets, causing countless people in the 10,000 Poison Clan to move. This kind of power was earth-shattering. On every life planet, in every street and alley, Xia Ping's arrest warrant appeared. However, they really did not know what Xia Ping looked like, so they could only use his name instead. Some people wanted to use network methods to track down the network address where Xia Ping had posted. Unfortunately, they were all intercepted by Corinne, and instead, they traced it to the 10,000 Poison Clan's own disciples. Chapter 1500. The 10,000 Poison Clan ruled a total of 3 major starfields, namely the Spider Starfield, the Red Snake Starfield, and the Black Scorpion Starfield. Each starfield was vast and boundless, with many prosperous life planets. At this moment, Xia Ping was in the Spider Starfield and had arrived at a relatively prosperous commercial planet, Bamboo Peach Planet. This planet was extremely prosperous in terms of commerce. It was twice the size of Yanhuang Planet and had a population of more than 100 billion. Countless practitioners would enter and exit this place to conduct transactions. Xia Ping's stars was currently hidden outside this planet, watching from afar. Corinne, can Dumbo really swallow this planet? Xia Ping looked at Corinne. Corinne said confidently, of course, if Gaia wanted to become stronger quickly, it would need to swallow other planets to strengthen its body, in addition to a huge soul. In the beginning, Dumbo's size was only about the size of an asteroid, but after being nurtured by the Old Master, it has grown to the size of a star after tens of thousands of years. If not for the Old Master's accidental death, perhaps Dumbo's current size would be even bigger. It would be easy for it to be thousands of times bigger than it is now. Moreover, there are many benefits after swallowing this planet. Not only can it obtain the entire planet's materials, but it can also obtain the planet's population of hundreds of billions. It knew Gaia's information like the back of its hand, indicating that there was absolutely no problem in doing so. But it doesn't seem to be that simple to swallow this planet. What if an enemy comes out to obstruct it? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, worried that Dumbo's swallowing of the planet might be obstructed. Don't worry. As long as the saints don't take action, no one can do anything to Dumbo. Even the Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouses can't do anything. They are just clay chickens and pottery dogs. Corinne was dismissive. Dumbo, do you want to eat that planet? Xiaoping looked at Dumbo, who was hugging his thigh and sleeping, and gently stroked her little head. Planet. Hearing Xiaoping's words, carelessly, Dumbo waved her eyes and blinked. He was very generous and generous. Her eyes lit up and she was very excited. Dumbo was very excited. Is that the food you gave to Dumbo? He left the stars. She was Gaia. Xiaoping would have the desire to swallow any life planet to devour the planet and take it for herself. However, he did not expect most of Gaia were to create a black hole and otakus that was dozens of times bigger than the planet. If there was no need, they would sleep on the spot and slowly evolve. Force. They would not go out unless it was on the bamboo peach necessary. Also experienced the corner of Xiaoping's mouth twitched. They lived like looking before, at Dumbo's excited working and going to school. He felt that he was worrying too much. But all of a sudden, a gigantic black hole creature in the universe, devouring the entire world. One of the strongest races. Even the spaceships flying around Bamboo Peach Planet. Yes, unable this to is the food I have prepared for you. Of the black hole. Eat as much as you want. Even if someone wanted to stand on ceremony for help. Under the black hole, even light could be distorted. No signal could be sent out. Boom. After a few breaths, the planet was completely devoured. Countless spaceships nearby also disappeared completely. All of them had entered Dumbo's stomach. So simple. Xiaoping blinked his eyes. This was a planet that was even bigger than Yanhuang Planet. Yet it was devoured by Dumbo in one bite. What a terrifying scene. If Yanhuang Planet had encountered a creature like Dumbo back then, it would have perished instantly without any chance to resist. Swoosh. Dumbo's figure flashed and returned to the spaceship again. It came to Xiaoping's side and gave a burp. It seemed to have tasted good. Dumbo, what happened to that planet? Xiaoping was very curious, because he didn't know what would happen to the planet that was devoured by Dumbo. It will become like this. Dumbo stretched out its finger and tapped Xiaoping's thigh lightly. Suddenly, a huge amount of information entered Xiaoping's mind. Countless information and images appeared in the depths of his mind. I see. Xiaoping suddenly understood. After this Bamboo Peach Planet entered Dumbo's stomach, other than life, all other substances on the planet instantly disintegrated, turning into basic substances and integrating into Dumbo's body. After these substances entered Gaia Planet, they would turn into mountains, soil, rivers, volcanoes, deserts, and so on. They would constantly increase the planet's land area and ocean area. As for the hundreds of billions of humans on this planet, they were scattered in every corner of Gaia Planet and started anew. As for the spaceships, weapons, spirit stones, and so on, they were all refined and transformed into Gaia Planet's energy. It could be said that apart from being practitioners, they had nothing. They were completely primitive people, and could only start anew in this place. Xiaoping was very regretful. He originally wanted to get a lot of training resources from this planet, but now it seemed impossible. Once it was devoured by Gaia, any non-living substances would instantly turn into basic substances and be completely transformed. But it didn't matter. Anyway, letting Gaia continue to grow stronger would also bring him endless benefits. Let's go and continue to the next one. Xiaoping immediately took action. This was just the beginning. He still had to devour more life planets. He believed that if these flourishing business planets were to disappear, it would be an unimaginable blow to Thousand Poison Clan, and cause them to be filled with hatred. And not long after Xiaoping left, many commercial spaceships flew towards Bamboo Peach Planet. They were all here to do business or to travel, but when they arrived they were all dumbfounded. Wait, where's Bamboo Peach Planet? Where did it go? You must be joking. Don't tell me it disappeared. Disappeared my ass. How could such a huge planet disappear? Don't tell me we went the wrong way and came to another star field. Impossible. According to the star map, this place is where Bamboo Peach Planet is located. But why did Bamboo Peach Planet disappear? Immediately contact our staff on Bamboo Peach Planet and ask them what exactly happened. No, we can't ask at all. We can't even get through to their phones. There's no one on the universe virtual network. Damn it. Something big has happened. Something really big has happened. Chapter 1501. However, the disappearance of Bamboo Peach Planet was just the beginning. In a few days, Nightfall Planet, Lily Planet, Cypress Pine Planet, Azalea Planet, and other 20 commercial planets disappeared. Each of these planets had a population of more than 100 billion, and there were even 5 or 6 planets with a population of more than 300 billion. They were extremely prosperous and had many practitioners. However, these people suddenly disappeared without a trace, and the impact of this could be imagined. For a moment, the people of the Spider Star region, the Red Snake Star region, and the Black Scorpion Star region were in a state of panic. They were afraid that such a phenomenon would happen to them. The Southern Universe Forum was naturally filled with this news. Even if the Wandu clan wanted to block it, it was impossible. It's really terrifying. Bamboo Peach Planet, Nightfall Planet, Lily Planet, Cypress Pine Planet, Azalea Planet, and other 20 planets disappeared overnight. It's simply unbelievable. What happened? It's hard to understand. If someone was crazy enough to destroy a planet, then the explosion of a planet would cause a chain reaction among the surrounding planets, causing violent fluctuations in the surrounding planets to reply within a radius of billions of kilometers. That bastard However, none of these phenomena happened. He's the one who made Bamboo Peach disappeared silently, and the other planets as if they were swallowed. Is quite this a natural phenomenon or man-made? They saw the truth of the matter from these images. What's the reason? Just what kind of technique did he use? Who has such great ability? How did he make a planet disappear silently? Could it be that the Wandu clan offended a sacred artifact, and the sage took revenge on them? Some speculated that Xiaoping might possess a sacred artifact in the Wandu clan, which was why he could instantly flatten the planet. Be discovered. Too arrogant. Unless the sages wanted to start a war and provoking the 10,000 poison sect. Everyone was talking about it. Just a warning, but they could not understand it. Just how far does he want to go? Some people said their own guesses. Each planet has at least 100 billion people. There was no evidence to prove it. He has slaughtered the Wandu clan was even more busy, maybe even more. Originally, even if he's a devil out over Xiaoping, that's all he can do. They had caused a commotion all over the city. Unparalleled devil. Now such a strange thing has the right to punish him, which made them even more furious. Everyone was discussing spiritedly the disappearance of a planet was just too unbelievable. One had to know that these planets were all commercial planets. They could not even find a trace of Xiaoping. People came and went. because
among
the
them,
spiritual
there
imprint
were
on
not only
Xia Ping's body
disciples
had
of the
long been
10,000
refined,
poison sect,
without a trace
but
left.
also many disciples
Even if
of other
Xia
sects
Ping appeared in
large
front
tribes.
of this group of
But now,
clan
because of the
disciples,
disappearance
they
of
would
the
not
planets,
be able to
they
detect
had also
anything.
disappeared.
At this time,
The turmoil caused
Xia
was
Ping
far
went
from
just
online
the 10,000
and immediately
poison
posted
sect.
on the forum.
Even the entire southern universe was alarmed.
Only a few pictures.
Many saint-class sects
One was
and
a
large
picture of
tribes
bamboo
had their
peach
eyes on this
planet
place.
still existing.
Seeing these replies,
And another was a picture
Xia
of
Ping
bamboo
immediately
peach
replied
planet
and said
after it
disdainfully,
disappeared.
"Devil,
Below it was
your
a
southern
sentence.
universe is
This
the
is a
base
warning.
camp of the devil
Just
Dao
this post
sects.
alone did not
Slaughtering
require
is
any
your
money to
specialty.
be pinned at all.
Have you forgotten
In an
how many
instant,
people you
it
killed
became the
when
most
you
popular
invaded the
post of
eastern
the day.
universe and the northern universe? You're making a fuss over nothing with such a small number of people. To be honest, I didn't want to do this, but your southern barbarians are too weak. With just a little bit of effort, you were easily defeated by me and slaughtered the planets." "What do you mean? Are you not from our southern universe?" A 10,000 poison sect disciple wanted to take the opportunity to inquire about Xia Ping. "That's right, I'm really not from the southern universe," Xia Ping directly admitted and said. "I'm not afraid to tell you that I, Wu Di, am from the northern universe. My true identity is a disciple of the northern universe's Black Heaven sect. I have 3 sages behind me and endless power, not to mention killing some 10,000 poison sect disciples. Even if I killed all the 10,000 poison sect elders and slept with all the women of the 10,000 poison sect, the Black Heaven sect would guarantee my safety. Don't tell me you have the ability to kill your way to the Black Heaven sect to find trouble with me. The 10,000 poison sect is just a bunch of chickens and dogs. I only have one purpose in coming to the southern universe this time, and that is to show off." He believed that Gaia planet would develop rapidly and obtain a lot of benefits. He didn't need to stay in this dangerous place. If we jump in space at this moment, the sage will definitely discover the space fluctuation, and at that time, he will definitely discover our whereabouts. Corinne said in a deep voice, "That can't be. Doesn't that mean that we can only hide in some void and leave after the saint gets tired of it?" The Green Ox also sensed the seriousness of the matter. "Not necessarily. I have the compass of wishes with me. I should be able to find a safe path to leave the territory of the 10,000 poison clan." Xia Ping was very calm because the power of the Khanate magic treasure, the wish compass, was very terrifying. It could grant almost any wish. With this magic treasure, even if a sage wanted to kill him, it would be an extremely difficult task. Back then, the myriad star sect master had relied on this treasure to evade many pursuits and obtain many treasures. Yes, there are 5 or 6 paths. Xia Ping took out the wish compass, and immediately the compass spun. 5 or 6 clear paths appeared in his mind. As long as he left according to one of the paths, he would definitely be able to escape the pursuit of the saint. Some of the gray aura in the depths of the compass also decreased a little. Clearly, in order to avoid the pursuit of the saint, he had to expend a portion of energy, and the amount was not small. However, what was strange was that these 5 or 6 paths seemed to lead to a destination. It was as if no matter which path he took, he would arrive at a certain place. Where exactly is that place? Xia Ping frowned, but he didn't think for too long. In short, he would know where the destination was once he went there and took a look. Swoosh! Under Xia Ping's control, the myriad stars kept advancing toward one of the paths. After flying for a day and a night, he lost track of how many light years he had flown. Finally, he arrived at the destination, but there was nothing around him. Furthermore, this place was still in the Arachnid Star territory. Before Xia Ping could figure out what was going on, a black hole suddenly appeared in the void in front of him, producing intense spatial fluctuations. In the next second, the myriad stars was immediately sucked in without even having time to react. After a while, swoosh, a figure immediately appeared in this starry sky, emitting a terrifying aura. It was as if all the energy in the star territory, where he stood, had stopped circulating, forming an absolute saint territory. There seemed to be black aura flowing in the depths of his pupils, containing faintly discernible poisonous gas. When it was released, even the void was corroded, and miniature wormholes appeared. This person was a saint of the Myriad Poison clan, Myriad Poison Supremacy. Rumor had it that he had cultivated his poison arts to an extremely high level. They were all gnashing their teeth over what had happened before. If they could open up a path to the dense fog galaxy, the benefits would be unimaginable. As disciples of the Black Heaven sect, they would naturally receive endless benefits. Now, it had been destroyed by Wu Wudi. One could imagine how furious they were. They even wanted to tear Wu Wudi into pieces. Oh no! A Mystic Heaven sect disciple posted on the internet. A disciple of the 10,000 Poison clan suddenly broke into one of our sect's encampments and started a massacre. He killed hundreds of our Mystic Heaven sect disciples, and even 7 or 8 Golden Core perfected masters. The 10,000 Poison clan disciple even said that he wanted to kill more of our Mystic Heaven sect disciples. In just one day, 7 or 8 sect encampments have been attacked by the 10,000 Poison clan disciples. He passed on this shocking news. What? Many of the Mystic Heaven sect disciples were shocked. They had heard of the 10,000 Poison clan, a demonic sect from the southern universe. They had footprints all over the universe, and there were traces of 10,000 Poison clan disciples everywhere in the northern universe. However, the 10,000 Poison clan was very cautious. Although they killed people like flies, most of the people who died were rogue cultivators or disciples from sects without much background. They would never provoke a large sect like the Mystic Heaven sect. Therefore, both sides had always been at peace and would not provoke each other too much. However, the 10,000 Poison clan actually dared to provoke the Mystic Heaven sect and kill their people. How audacious! Why did this happen? Are these 10,000 Poison clan disciples crazy? They dared to provoke our Mystic Heaven sect. Are they not afraid that our Mystic Heaven sect will surround these demonic beasts? A Mystic Heaven sect disciple was furious. Why did the 10,000 Poison clan disciples attack our Mystic Heaven sect encampment? Is there a reason? A Mystic Heaven sect disciple's eyes flickered. He was very cautious. He wanted to know why the 10,000 Poison clan had suddenly attacked his own sect disciples. What reason? Do demonic path thieves need a reason to kill? That's right. Sometimes these demonic path bastards will slaughter the people of an entire city, just because they are in a bad mood. It's useless to reason with them. I already said that we should quickly kill these demonic path disciples and eliminate them to prevent them from causing any more trouble. However, you all didn't agree, because you were afraid of the 10,000 Poison clan's revenge. Now, these 10,000 Poison clan bastards have placed their butcher's knife on our necks, and even killed our fellow disciples. Raising a tiger will only invite disaster. Kill that group of Wandu clan disciples, kill them, take revenge for our brothers who died. Cut them into 10,000 pieces. We must cut those 10,000 Poison clan disciples into 10,000 pieces. They dare to provoke our 10,000 Poison clan? They don't even know how to write the word death. This is the northern universe, the territory of our Mystic Heaven sect. Puny demonic path disciples dare to behave atrociously. They are courting death. The Mystic Heaven sect disciples roared angrily. Their killing intent soared as they gnashed their teeth. A Mystic Heaven sect elder immediately gave the order to kill these evil 10,000 Poison clan disciples. A group of Mystic Heaven sect elites immediately went out to encircle the 10,000 Poison clan disciples. However, the results were not very good. Even though they had the advantage in numbers and killed many 10,000 Poison clan disciples, the problem was that the 10,000 Poison clan disciples were ruthless and cunning. They had all kinds of strange poisons on their bodies and could kill without leaving a trace. Often, when they killed a 10,000 Poison clan disciple, hundreds of Mystic Heaven sect disciples would die. This brought heavy losses to the Mystic Heaven sect elders. This made the expressions of the Mystic Heaven sect elders very unsightly. For a moment, many Mystic Heaven sect disciples were in a state of panic. They walked in groups at night and prepared their own dry rations and drinking water every time they ate. They were afraid of encountering a 10,000 Poison clan disciple and being poisoned to death without anyone knowing. Damn it, is the 10,000 Poison Clan crazy? They actually attacked our sect without any regard for their lives, and killed our Mystic Heaven sect disciples. Some of them even carried out suicide attacks and self-destructed at the slightest provocation. What kind of deep hatred do we have with them? Some Mystic Heaven sect elders were puzzled. Although they were not afraid of the revenge of the 10,000 Poison Clan disciples, they also wanted to know why they had provoked such a powerful enemy for no reason, and made these people attack their sect like crazy. Chapter 1506. You've really misunderstood. We have nothing to do with Wu Wudi. In fact, we want to kill him even more than you do. We want to tear him apart. The faces of the Mystic Heaven sect disciples turned green. No one believed them, even if they were telling the truth. They wanted to explain that this matter had nothing to do with the Mystic Heaven sect. This was not the way to take the blame. Haha, if you really have a grudge against Wu Wudi, then hand him over. A 10,000 Poison sect elder sneered and suggested a solution. As long as they handed over Wu Wudi, then everything could be discussed. The Mystic Heaven sect elder said, "If we knew where that guy is, we would have killed him long ago. Why would we wait until now? You're making things difficult for us." He felt very helpless. Make things difficult for you? I knew you were lying. You righteous sects really know how to lie. You can't even believe punctuation. You're all hypocrites. We're clearly saying such things to protect Wu Wudi. Do you think we're stupid? The 10,000 Poison sect disciples sneered. They thought that the Mystic Heaven sect must be lying. They pretended that Wu Wudi had a grudge against the Mystic Heaven sect, and had even been expelled from the sect in order to secretly protect this kid. They said they didn't know where he was, but in fact, he was already hiding in the sect and being protected. We really have nothing to do with that bitch. Why don't you believe us? Or rather, how can you believe us? The Mystic Heaven sect disciples were extremely sullen. They would never be able to clear their relationship, even if they fell into the Yellow River. Even if they didn't have mud in their pants, they were still lying. It's easy to make us believe you. As long as you compensate us with a divine artifact, resources from 50 planets and billions of pills, we'll believe that you're innocent. That's right. If you have this kind of sincerity, we'll believe you. Otherwise, it's impossible. Otherwise, you're lying and trying to protect Wu Wudi. The 10,000 Poison sect disciples sneered. Their gazes were cold as they stated their conditions condescendingly. But when they heard these conditions, the faces of the Mystic Heaven sect disciples turned as black as charcoal. Their expressions were very unfriendly. Bullshit. A divine artifact, and you want resources from 50 planets? Why don't you just rob someone? I knew these demonic path disciples were greedy and insatiable. If you want to incriminate someone, you can always find a pretext. Even if this didn't happen, these demonic Dao bastards would still want to extort our mysterious heaven sect. Do they really think our mysterious heaven sect is a pushover that they can pinch as they please? Kill these bastards from the 10,000 Poison sect. So what if Wu Wudi is one of us? Can you still bite our Black Heaven sect to death? He wasn't killed by the powerful figures of the saint-level sections. This ability to escape was second to none. Fortunately, this guy was smart and didn't expose his identity. Otherwise, he would definitely be chased all over the universe. After a few days, the two great sects temporarily stopped fighting. They also began to calm down. In particular, the 10,000 Poison sect also began to know that Wu Wudi might not be a disciple of the mysterious Heaven sect. They were played by that bastard. So they caused trouble for the mysterious Heaven sect for no reason. After all, they had been fighting for such a long time. They weren't fools. Therefore, the two great sects began to track Wu Wudi's whereabouts. They wanted to know where this guy came from. In the end, they actually found some clues. It was said that Wu Wudi first appeared in the Eastern Universe. It seemed that he was in the star field ruled by the Lingyun sect, and appeared in the universe virtual network. Damn it, this Wu Wudi isn't a native of the dense fog star field. He's also someone who entered the dense fog star field. No way. Doesn't that mean he has the key to entering the dense fog star field? How did he do it? I'm not sure, but this kid must have a big secret. Damn it, this guy has done a lot of evil in the Eastern Universe. As soon as he appeared, he deceived a large number of ordinary people and swindled their money. He's a super liar. There are countless people and forces who want to kill him. Damn it, not only is he a big liar, but he also published a book, and it's extremely popular. It's known as the Treasure Book of Deception. Almost everyone in several star fields has a copy. Even a liar can publish a book. He's too shameless. Is he shameless? I've never seen such a shameless person. He even scams children's money. He's inhumane. No wonder he came to the Southern Universe to burn, kill, and pillage. He has a criminal record. He's been doing evil for a long time. Such an evil person is not only despised by the righteous sects, but even us demonic sects are ashamed to be associated with him. He has no bottom line. But where exactly is he from? The Eastern Universe, the Northern Universe, or the Southern Universe? I don't know. This Wu Wudi is too mysterious. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.